Yours is on, right?
Yep. It's all you.
What do you mean it's all me?
You doing the intro?
Why are we on?
Yes.
Microphones are live, you know. You big dummy.
Me?
In a small hollow in North Carolina, there have been several Bigfoot sightings.
Hunters may need to be on the lookout for something other than deer when they hit the woods this week.
He hadn't been spotted recently, but according to these pictures,
You're listening to Paratalkradio with Ted Wolf and Psychic Cindy on Paratalkradio.com, a member of the WLFE digital broadcast family. Paratalk is your one-stop for all things paranormal, the unknown, and the supernatural. Join us every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central for discussions and guests on topics such as ghosts, hauntings, Bigfoot, UFOs, and more. This broadcast is rated M for mature and is intended for listeners over 16. The topic, views, and opinions expressed on our show may not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of Paratalk Radio, our hosts, or our sponsors. Now, live from J Wolf Production Studio in Ontario, New York, here are your hosts, Ted and Cindy.
Hi!
Hey!
Okay. Guys, how
Yay!
are we?
We're in studio!
Yes, we are. We're in
Hey!
All right. So tonight's going to be fun, I think. It's been a couple weeks since we've been in studio.
Yep.
And hello, Nick. Hello, Wes Stump. Hello, Barry Martz. Mary Cleveland. There's the Heartbeat of America. And I don't mean Chevy.
Can you bring one over for me too?
Oh, we'll see what I can do. We'll see. So, guys, we have a pair of jokesters here. I mean, a pair of gentlemen here.
A para
Gentlemen. I've actually had the pleasure of working with Mary Cleveland. Oops.
Wait, whoa.
I've actually had the pleasure of speaking with Mr. James Aureli. That's his new name is Aureli.
Aureli.
One more nickname to the list.
Yeah, add another nickname, Anvil. So I've already spoken to
Thank
him.
you.
And then the new guy with the funky hat, which I like, is Jeff. I do not know how to say your last name.
It's Orechovsky.
Orechovsky.
Okay.
I can probably done it. Oh, right there.
A good Polish name,
Orechovsky.
right?
Yes, I would have definitely said that one easily and correctly.
Yes. There we go. There you go.
I'm warm. Woo.
Tom
I'm
Nally.
hot-blooded.
Tom Nally says hi, Teddy,
Check
Cindy,
and
Jeff, and
see.
Anvil. There you go.
Hey.
Oh,
Nick's on here. Hey, Nick, how did it go yesterday? He was doing an interview.
He did an interview. He does a lot of interviews. He's just a,
Oh, he gets around
yeah.
like we like to.
No, he likes to get around.
He gets around.
Okay, so I know a lot about James, but I don't know much about this Jeff fella. Ha 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 ha.
Jeff fella?
Just picking on him. So I know that he's into UFOs. I know that he's into Bigfoot. And I know pretty much that.
Okay. Perfect.
No, I know a few other things too. I'm just joking. But I wanted to bring you guys on as a pair. Actually, Mr. James actually brought your name up, Jeff, and he says, "Hey, we should bring you on the show and you guys can do something." I'm like, "Okay." So he kind of pimped you out, just so you know.
Perfect. Fantastic.
I'm so quiet.
No, I'm very happy to be here. Thank you very much for having me.
You are welcome. You're welcome. So hopefully you guys aren't going to be super quiet.
No,
You have to speak into the microphone.
one of those people, you can't shut me up once you get me going. You know.
Okay.
I don't know what subject you guys want to cover, or if you have questions, or.
Well, we're going to cover as much as we possibly can in the amount of time that we have. So, and that's between you and James.
Okay.
The man.
The legend.
The legend. Yeah, there you go.
The legend.
Never mind.
That's awesome.
Well, James and I have had some really good conversations. So he was on Talk with Teddy, and we had a good time.
Awesome.
Cool.
So let's.
I think I saw you guys on. I think I saw him on there a little bit. Yeah.
He's. I know a little bit more about him. I brought him on
like
because
your hat.
he is. Thank you.
It's very nice.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. It's a good one.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I saw that. I'm used to you wearing a hat, but I guess I didn't pay attention until
to me wearing a flat cap.
Well, no, but I've seen you wearing them, but this is a new one.
Why are you touching my cap?
Because I love it. Can we just let me put it on for a minute?
No.
Yes, please. Let me put it on for a minute.
Fine. Put it on for a minute. God, there goes my bald head.
Hey, good on you. Good. Look at that. It's cute. Very cute. Very nice.
Shh. Don't tell her that.
Because I'll try keeping it.
Put it back on my head where it belongs, please.
I love it.
Thank you. I own like 5 or 6 of them.
Yes, I need one now. Oh, look how cute I look. Oh my God. We need to. Did you bring another one for yourself? That looks super cute on me.
It's gonna be a long show.
Sharing is caring.
Yes, it is.
Listen, I haven't seen Teddy. We saw each other 2 weeks ago, and then it's been 2 months though before that.
Right.
So it's been a long time.
Yes.
Yes.
Hello, Ruth Such. How are you? It's nice to see you, Kimberly Porter. Hello, Kim. Hello,
hi, Steve.
Mr. Mike Ann. Hello, Mike.
Steve Berry.
Yes, we have them all in there. It's so nice to see everybody, and we are so happy to be at the actual studio.
What am
together.
I on?
You're not on the same feed I am.
Obviously, I'm on Paratalk Radio though.
Yes, you are.
Oh, good. Perfect.
Well, so am I. But you're seeing something different than
me. No. Right. You have the StreamYard on yours.
The direct streamer.
Yeah.
Yes, you have the actual Facebook page.
I could actually grab my computer
you're right there. Why do you need it? You're good. Jeez, don't make this complicated. Everything looks good on Cindy K. Thompson, says Steve Berry.
Aw, Steve, thanks.
Yeah, flattery will get you everywhere with her.
Listen, I'm not ego driven. That's not the truth.
That's thanks, John. So let's talk about this, gentlemen.
Yes.
Oh, look at that. I put a comma in there. Damn it. I need to fix it.
Wait, what? How do you fix it?
Are you both part of Specters?
Jeff is kind of a special guest investigator when we have things going on sometimes. So
bum, bum,
I don't know if that made any sense.
Special, all right.
He's special.
I'm special.
He's special.
So
okay. It only says Teddy.
Yeah. I'm like the camera guy once in a while.
I'm sorry.
The camera guy.
Yeah, when we're running short of midgets.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, yeah.
Oops.
Oh!
Not that one.
Hey.
Oh.
But so we can do this too.
Hey.
Oh!
Hey.
I like your hat though. That's like a German
it's like
right?
Yeah, it's got all kinds of neat stuff on it, like little pins from different parts of the world. Germany, some of them. I found it in an antique store, well, a thrift store, whatever.
I love thrift stores. That's my favorite.
So
you guys are actually kind of local. You guys are both in New York.
Oh, you are?
Yes, we are.
Yeah. Yep.
Where in New York are you guys?
We are in the Binghamton, Johnson City area.
Oh, yeah, that's not too far away. It's a couple hours drive for us.
3.
Well, for me, it's 2 for Binghamton.
Really?
You know how I used to know? Or you know how I know?
How do you know it's 2 hours for you? Because it's like definitely long for me. And
well,
it's
because
south.
you have to remember that it's an hour from you and you're east of me.
Yeah, but it's still south.
Or west of me.
It's south.
Yeah. So I just go down basically like
that's all I do is go down.
Right. Like I do too.
I caught it.
How often do you go down, Ted?
We were not
That's
meaning it.
not the way I meant it.
Uh-huh.
I know, but it just sounded funny.
That's because somebody over there opened
Just take 390 down to 17 and you're
Yeah,
there.
exactly, and go right straight across. We used to go.
Cindy and I take 81 to 7.
Right. Yeah.
I used to go to Johnson City for the Touch of Texas, and I used to go to Binghamton for the Touch of Texas.
I sang at the Touch of Texas once.
So did I, like 5 or 6
What
times.
the hell is a touch of Texas? Obviously singing something.
Yeah, that's where it was
like
a
a
country. It
barbecue.
was a country club
Oh.
and country music club, and my band Double Cross used to go down there and play.
Oh, fun. Yeah. I was in Binghamton for other reasons.
Don't want to know.
No.
Wow. Ominous.
It's so hard because James' face, James has always got that look. You can't tell if he's going to smile or laugh, but at least we know with Jeff now, because Jeff has got the other face that actually shows everything, so we know. What's going on.
This guy blows me open. So
Yeah, that would be it.
Oh, okay. So can I?
You need this back?
Well, yeah. I'd like to get us back to.
So I need my computer, I feel.
I'm not switching.
Somebody's they're switching the screen.
all right,
There we go.
yeah.
Now I can see everybody.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, that's
Here.
not what I want.
In my ear. There we go.
Hey.
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 But she was stealing my mouse. Okay, so let's talk about.
That's what they're calling it now.
Yes.
They've been stealing your
Kids are calling it these days.
Okay, so let's talk about S.P.E.C.T.E.R.S Foundation first.
Okay.
Let's start there, since that is a paranormal investigation.
So
Organization,
inspectors
correct?
is paranormal. A lot of the focus inspectors is the haunting, ghosts, investigations, things along those lines. But we are not closed to things like UFOs and Sasquatch and things like that. And that's where Jeff comes into play in the S.P.E.C.T.E.R.S Foundation. He covers that end of the spectrum. So we're based here in Binghamton. We've been around for about 11 years and do local investigations. We've done regional stuff, commercial properties, private properties, and we just try to help people out.
Nice. Yes, it is. Hello, David.
Hello, David.
All right. Oh no, that's awesome. So you are a nonprofit? Are you a listed?
We're a nonprofit. We are a nonprofit.
No, God, no.
Yeah, we're.
This is all,
What is it called? A 501? Is it a 501c?
We are not officially a 501c3, but we don't charge for our investigations. We don't ask for money. We don't even ask to get reimbursed for travel. If we can't afford to go, we'll tell you that's out of our range, and we'll try to get you hooked up with someone else that can.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Networking is very important.
It
in this
is.
field.
It really is. I mean, because we have had to send other people to different areas too.
Yeah. How many times did we have to do that?
I mean, there are some that we've taken that are
Right.
quite a distance.
Right. Hey, John, can you do me a favor and check the feed and check my microphone?
Check.
What's the check?
Because I remember the last time we were here, I just remembered it wasn't loud. Cindy was much louder than me.
No,
She
you're
always
recording.
is.
On the recording.
No,
she
I'm
wasn't.
not.
not recording.
On the recording. I
I'm
just wanted
not.
to double check. That's all. It's.
I
don't
thought it
want us
was
to be-
actually opposite the last time. You were so much louder.
No,
no, that
was
was-
months ago.
That was at your house.
Y-
That was at your house.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So, how long has this organization been together now?
Sorry.
S.P.E.C.T.E.R.S was formed about 11 years ago, and
Oh.
we started really doing investigations probably about 9 years ago, getting out into the field. It actually started as a kind of like a support group for people that had experiences but really didn't know where to go, who to talk to.
Right.
People come out of the spiritual closet, as it were.
But
And,
did you say what S.P.E.C.T.E.R.S stood for?
The study of paranormal events confirmed through education, evidence, research, and science.
Perfect. Thank you. Because I didn't think that had been. I mean, we have
No,
the
we didn't put those dots
acronym.
in there just to make it look pretty. No.
Right. We have the acronym, but we didn't actually hear what the full name of your foundation is. So thank you. I appreciate
I
it.
was getting there. A little bit. So, So, just like every other organization that's out there, are you playing with my tat now?
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
Jeez, she is so like touchy-feely over here.
I am so emotional today. I'm
Oh.
touching Teddy. He needs
Wait, Jeff gets that way too, but usually after a couple
I think
shots.
Jeff's doing it too.
except his hand is under the table where we can see him.
Oh,
Well, you can see my hand on Teddy.
I got his hand on him.
we call that our secret handshake.
Yeah, that's a true handshake. There you go. That's awesome. So it's Cindy Swallow.
Cindy, you swallow? Oh boy. Oh, good girl. Don't spit. Don't you dare. Oh.
Storks bring babies. Swallows don't.
Exactly.
Oh boy.
I leaked a little.
Yeah, you leaked a little.
I didn't mean to. It got on my. Excuse me while I clean up, boys.
That's all right. It's all right. It's all right, Monica. We're good.
Oh, boom!
Here, I had a little on my chin. Hang on. It's just water, people. You were the pervs. Just saying. You were making me laugh harder. Listen, I'm being good. I'm being
all
good.
women laugh when they see me naked. Trust me, okay?
All right. That's hysterical.
Oh my
Both
goodness.
of you guys are cracking me up.
All right. So,
now so what does the anvil mean?
Okay, well, I'll let him explain that. I was
all right. So,
there, so
so
His name is not Anvil.
what's that?
Oh, I can.
So if you go back about
Yes, Mike, exactly.
Yeah.
40 years to the 80s, there was a professional wrestler named Jim the Anvil Neidhart.
Okay.
And he and I look very, very similar.
Got it.
I got the nickname back in the 80s.
That's funny. Yes.
Got the nickname back in the 80s, and it kind of stuck. And then I did jobs when I was younger, like security and other employment, that it's better to have just a kind of nickname versus your real legal name.
Got it.
So it stuck. It stayed for the most part. Anyone that I've known outside of high school knows me as Anvil, not James.
Oh, that's hysterical.
Yep. Yeah. See, I went through that with him already.
See?
So it's your turn. See, now you got to learn.
Right.
You can ask questions. There you go.
Yeah.
So,
well, and I have been.
right. So is residential mainly what you guys do? Is just you're just doing it as a part of, like, when they contact you, you don't do a lot of the commercial things. Pay to investigate.
It's a chunk of what we do, but we've also done a lot of commercial properties, museums, buildings that are being used for other purposes other than residents, and things like that. So it's a little of each.
Yeah, it's tough because there's so many. Like, I understand that all these locations, like the commercial properties or museums or old houses that claim to be haunted or whatever, they're the people are trying to keep them going, and I understand that they're charging for paranormal teams to come through and investigate, which is fine. I think there's a part of that that's needed, and it's okay. But there are teams like my team that we just don't do that. We're there for the purpose of the public, and that's pretty much it.
Mm-hmm. You don't have T-Mobile, do you?
No way.
Because they're down. Service down for users across the U.S.
Huh. That's T-Mobile's
I didn't
problem.
know if maybe anything that we had going on could be.
Nope.
Okay, good.
Nope. Because if anything was T-Mobile, those guys would be gone and we'd be gone.
Right.
But we're
That's
all
great.
still here.
We're all still here.
That's right.
We're all
As far as the commercial properties and paying, we really don't do a lot. We don't do, we haven't gone to like any of the asylums where they're charging you.
Right.
The stuff locally, they don't charge you to go investigate per se. Things where the money is going to a good cause, when you go up and do the Hinsdale House, I got no problem paying to go up and investigate up there.
Right.
That money's all going right back into the property. The Wildwood Sanitarium over in Salamanca, I don't mind doing.
I haven't been to Salamanca in a long time, actually.
Yeah.
Although I will say, and Lonnie and I broke down, there's a location on our bucket list that we're going to get out of the way in July, and that's going to be the farmhouse in Harrisville, Rhode Island, the Conjuring House.
Nice.
Oh, nice. Very cool.
We're going to pay the money to go up there and investigate that location.
I want to just see what I picked up. I would be really super curious what I actually picked up, but I wouldn't want anybody to tell me where I was going. I mean, not that I want to be kidnapped and thrown in a car and taken. That's not what I mean. Let me clarify.
We could do that.
Although that would be a great new spin on the paranormal shows.
I just want to know that I'm going to an investigation, but not be told where I'm going.
Kidnap Paranormal.
Right. Oh my God. A new show. Paranormal kidnapping.
There you go. They kidnap you and they take you to a haunted location that you have no idea.
I have no idea.
And they just drop you off there and you have to survive 24 hours.
Drop me off there. I need no. Fuck no.
Yes.
I mean, what? No.
Yes.
Hell to the no.
Hell to the no.
All right. So I just want to get back here to a couple comments. What is the greenery growing behind Ted?
And Cindy.
And Cindy, that is.
Look, it says it only. Look at. I've already checked it because it should say Ted and Cindy.
I can leave. I can leave. The boys are sitting right there. Wait. I can do this.
Hey,
it's us. I don't know if you want to see that though.
Guys, just hold on 1 second, okay? Hold on.
No, you don't.
So I can't take questions. I don't know what we're talking about, but it's that a lot of times there's the Bigfoot community. And just that's a great UFO story. On top of that, so are we back?
Well, see,
We're so used to putting our own names up for ourselves because we've been separate for so long.
Yeah, so I had to make sure I put Psychic Cindy behind Ted Wolf. She would not stop unless I fixed it.
That is not true. I am not. Listen, you would think by the way Teddy is talking tonight that I am like this egomaniac and off the scenes, like I'm like, fuck you, Teddy! I can't believe you're not giving me my dues.
Yep, that sounds like you. Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
We actually had a comment here that said we need more. Where is it? We need a little bit of Invisible John's sound effects.
I know, Barry. I agree with you. See? Yeah.
Really?
There. The anvil is also one of our middle ear bones. Okay, Barry. Thank you for the information.
This is good.
Yep.
Yes.
Burp, burp, burp.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So behind Anvil, there is a sign that says Sasquatch and a pic under it. Is that supposed to be the real Bigfoot? Laugh my ass off.
Stonewall Jackson, but good guess.
Who Jackson?
Stonewall.
Oh, Stonewall Jackson.
I was going to say Cornwall.
That's funny.
You dumb mother.
David is hysterically. He's like, oh my God, you two are crazy.
It's about Bigfoot?
Yeah, I know. It was just one of those
LOL,
things.
Cindy said the F word. Kimberly.
Yes, she did.
Yes,
and we
more
were
than
chastising her later.
With wet noodles. Just the way I like it.
Yeah.
I mean, what?
Tom says you're not an egomaniac either.
Tom is being a dick right now saying, no, Cindy is not an egomaniac. That's how Tom's saying it.
Oh, is that how he's saying it? Okay.
Warning. Warning.
Cindy said it
Bullshitter alert.
You know? Cornholio! Yes,
right.
that's what I actually
My bunghole, it goes.
I love.
Oh my God, you're killing me, guys.
I love the cornholio.
I know. Okay, so
that's more information than we need.
Tom,
I was not saying. I was not being
Butt
naughty.
scratcher! Butt scratcher! There's your butt scratcher here!
Larry,
Butt scratcher!
I was not being naughty. I'm just saying.
So Tom, Tommy said Maui Wowie, and you know what that's from? That is from WWE's The Fiend.
Oh, I don't know the newer ones. I remember.
Yeah.
Like I remember 80s
right?
WWF.
Right, James?
Yeah, 80s.
80s WWF used to come to Rochester.
Art
Used to go.
Foundation.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
World
exactly.
Wrestling Foundation.
So
and
what
it
we're going
was-
to talk about wrestling instead of paranormal tonight?
I don't know.
Well, Anvil, that's where he got that from.
Yeah, I his daughter, the Anvil's daughter, is in WWE right now.
What? Doing what?
Yeah, Natty.
Natty,
Yeah, Natty Hart.
Your daughter?
No.
The real Anvil.
See how quickly people get us confused?
I'm
No,
so
my daughter.
confused.
It's Jim the Animal Nightheart's daughter.
Doesn't mean I'm a dick. Just because I have a dick doesn't mean I'm a dick.
Whoa.
Well, I have a dick, and mine is probably bigger than yours.
Oh my God! Can we stop?
You always got to pull it out on the playground, don't you?
These guys, yes, they do. She's, Jesus Christ.
It's
the
perfect.
the
It's
paranormal
perfect
show
that you
is gone
can't
now.
see.
Apparently we're gone back.
Let's bring it back to a regular show.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we need to start
So
changing this
funny.
into like variety talk
well.
radio.
Sorry, but no one's available to answer your call at this time. If you'd like to leave a message, please wait for the beep. Then press pound, press 3, then dial your name, then press 6 and dial your number, then press star, press 69, ask for extension 4443, then leave your name and message. If you want to leave your number and the time you called, please press star twice, bark like a dog, spin in a circle, press 1 26 times, and wait for
What's
the
in
beep.
that water?
And thanks for calling.
The F word. The F word. That's what's in that water. I swallowed the F word.
So
fuck you.
Wow. Yeah, exactly. So we were discussing the.
yeah. DCC is live.
Okay, we were trying to discuss the paranormal, and I guess
What's going on?
The sex is like, I don't know.
Well, let's not bring it up. Let's just move on to paranormal.
Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be great?
Oh my god, hysterical.
All right, so as paranormal, people that watch the show, they expect this now because it just always goes there.
Derails,
It's never
and bodies and diesel fuel
never
everywhere.
strictly paranormal. It always goes to that other crap because you two are pervs.
No, listen, wait a second. Every time.
I'll take my lumps on this one.
Listen, the lumps.
The lumps.
My
So-
lovely lady lump. My lump. My lump.
That's what I think about all day.
So
Anyway,
I want to
wait,
ask.
hang on. I need to clarify. Every time we say we meaning Teddy and John, every time they say we need to clean it up and stop talking naughty, I obey and I don't do it until one of those two starts. And then I am all perved out.
Wait. So if I jumped off a bridge, you're just going to do it with me?
Yeah.
I find that very hard to
I'm
believe.
the co-host. I have to follow you. Excuse me. I haven't done that in a long time.
Okay, can we get
Yep.
get this back
Sure.
on track?
Sure. Yep.
James, we didn't have this problem, did we?
No, because it was just you and me talking, but we at the end of the conversation, almost 2.5 hours, we were into sci-fi and
comic
who our superheroes were. So yeah.
We can talk superheroes and freaking comic books and shit. Come on.
That's what we were
I'm a
doing.
nerd.
We were talking sci-fi. We were talking comic books. We were talking
Listen, I'm a
superheroes.
nerd. I'm super nerd.
We were talking all that stuff, and then Jeff will be sitting there being bored.
Okay, what universe are you, DC or Marvel?
Both.
Yeah, both. I like both of them. I don't see why you have to differentiate. Can't we all just get along?
Exactly.
Yeah, because
Exactly.
basically I have to be DC because Wonder Woman is DC. But
Girls gotta
Spider-Man,
stick together.
Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel's
Yeah, Captain Marvel, exactly.
yeah,
Captain
but
Marvel's pretty smart female character.
yes, I grew up in
So
Wonder Woman.
are you Gail Gadot? Or are you Linda Carter woman?
I love Linda Carter because she's who I grew up on Saturday mornings with.
Absolutely.
However, Gail Gadot can put it down. She spanked it.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, she made a really good updated version.
I think they actually salvaged the DC universe with movies.
I agree.
At least bought them a little time to get some better movies going.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, but you know that Wonder Woman got a lot of slack. They really did get a lot of slack about Gal Gadot, and she wasn't going to be able to hold her own. But I really thought it was a great movie.
I thought she held her own and went above and beyond.
Absolutely.
I thought she did a fantastic job in those movies. You know.
Yes. I agree.
Yeah. Linnell says, I like both DC and Marvel. Both sides have great characters. I agree.
Yeah, they
both do.
Yeah, but listen, I love me my Spider-Man and my Deadpool.
Which now you're into.
Yeah.
Marvel.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Totally Marvel.
Yeah.
I'm probably the only reason I'm DC would only be Wonder Woman for the most part. I was never like a big Superman. I mean, I like them. It's okay. I can handle them. And Batman is okay.
Yeah, I was into Batman, but not as much as I was into like I loved Aquaman.
Yeah, I love
Aquaman and Wonder Woman were two of my
I love
favorites,
Doctor Strange too.
Doctor Strange.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, so let's get back on topic of paranormal for a little bit, and then we'll finish up with
we could like bring up the fact like of paranormal Spider-Man.
You do realize that
and paranormal
that Sergeant Rock was DC, and I'm all about Sergeant Rock.
Sergeant Rock, yeah.
I don't know if I know who Sergeant Rock is.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to look him up now.
But you know, Doctor Strange was actually paranormal.
Yes, right, absolutely, he is. Well, because he brought in magic and he brought in dimensions and portals and all this
Eastern
other cool
religion, Eastern philosophies. Yes.
Yeah.
It's a spiritual world.
Yes, James, he did. Very spiritual. It was very, very cool.
Yeah, that's why I love stuff.
Look at Jeff. He's like, yep.
Yep. I have no idea what the hell you're all talking about.
See, I know that.
See, you got to nerd up, man. Nerd up. Jeff, you're not nerding up.
I've chasing aliens too long, I think.
Aliens. Now, see, there's a subject I could talk about. See, Jeff,
let's get into the alien side.
Jeff and I will be over here talking about.
Have either one of you seen a UFO or an alien?
There you go. Huh?
Have either one of you seen a UFO or an alien?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, absolutely.
Which one? The UFO or the alien or both?
Both. So my daughter, I really believe that I was abducted several times when I was younger, and then it was, and then they were abducting my daughter when she was little, and I put a kibosh to it. They literally had me paralyzed. They gave me the full body paralysis, and I'm like, "Fuck you! I'm disavowing. I'm taking away all the privilege you've had for me and my daughter. I'm done with it. You guys are not allowed to take us. You're not allowed to come here. It's done." But since then, I have had other alien interaction, which is in the aliens in the form of gods and aliens in the form of things that we wouldn't necessarily think or believe that aliens are, but ancient civilizations have had the blue man. They've had ancient gods named Ra, which Ra is an alien. The blue man is Shiva, who is a god. So yeah, I've had other interactions with gods who are aliens.
I love it because Tom Naily says Cindy was abducted. Oh, now it all makes sense.
Oh, I love Swamp Thing. Who just said that? Somebody said I love Swamp Thing, and I love freaking Swamp Thing. Barry said it.
Did. Now Swamp Thing,
Barry,
Swamp
Thing. Oh man,
I haven't seen the new one yet.
Man, listen, the old one was what's her name and what's his name? Come on.
There's no way to turn them up, John.
They're all the way up.
They're all the way up.
All the way up. Knobs all the way up.
Okay.
I have voicemail. What does that mean? I have voicemail.
So these the first set of aliens that you or visitors, whatever you want to call them, that you encountered, what do they look like?
What do they look like?
Wait, what? I'm sorry, I was reading.
Pay attention to the show.
I am paying attention to the show. Comments.
He asked what did they look like?
The first set.
Man.
The first ones.
Green.
Oh, no, they were grays. They were grays.
Yeah. How tall were they? 5 feet, 3 feet?
Her height.
They were, well,
It's good.
that's hard. They were probably about my height, which would be 5 foot.
So you weren't noticing their stature.
No, because I have to think about it because I wasn't standing while I was with them. Does that make sense? I have to think about, well, this is the thing. I don't know now.
All right. Well, let's back up.
It could have been the 3 feet and the 5 feet.
He's talking.
I'm sorry. Were you on a metal table of some sort or some kind of apparatus like that? Were you laying down?
The last time it was literally in my bedroom. I lived with my mom and dad back then.
Okay.
And I had my daughter, and I was literally I don't remember being in an aircraft or anything. I don't ever remember that kind of stuff. I can remember different things. Who said literally? I didn't say literally.
I'm looking at you saying literally.
Oh, literally. I can remember things like being in places that I shouldn't be.
Do you remember any medical procedures?
No.
You haven't done?
No, but I've had issues my whole life.
Did you have any miscarriages that you couldn't explain?
No, never.
None of that? Okay. Is there any weird scars on your body or
scars?
No.
My kids you can't explain.
I have regressed somebody. I have done a regression. It was this lifetime regression because they wanted to literally know. You're welcome. They wanted to know, can you regress me, hypnotize me to this point only? I only want to know this much, and I don't want to know after that. I just want to know that these 2 marks and my missing time really was something. And we took her back to that time, and it wasn't just her that it happened to. She had her boyfriend at the time. This was 1960s on the I-90. It was late 60s on the I-90. He was going into the military, and they both were driving down from Buffalo to Rochester, and all of a sudden they're on the side of the road and they're like, okay, why are we here? And they literally had a span of time that they could not remember, but she had these marks right at her, the top of her hairline. And they are scars to this day that she could not explain. And she believed that she was abducted, and I don't know if they were married at the time, if they were just fiance or boyfriend and girlfriend, or married at the time, because they married after that. But he would never talk about it again. And the only time she really talked about it was to me, and she wanted to verify that this indeed was what happened. She didn't want to know anything after what had happened. She just wanted to verify that indeed she had this contact that she knew she had. And we did verify it. And that's it. She immediately came out of it by herself. Yeah.
That's very common actually among abductees. It's not something they seek publicity for. It's not something they talk about openly. There's a lot of support groups through the United States just for abductees alone. So no, that's very fascinating. Very fascinating. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't remember being like taken up to a spaceship. I just have other memories of.
I've only seen one alien in my lifetime.
Really?
E.T.
You're so ridiculous. E.T. Did you meet him in person?
Oh, I lied because Xenomorph. I've seen them too.
Why do I know? Oh, yes, Xenomorphs are alien.
Yeah.
Elf. Remember Elf? Who can remember Elf?
Elf? Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just joking, but
silly.
I think when it comes to aliens and UFOs and all that stuff, Cindy and I have been talking on and off for the past few weeks because I've been experiencing some stuff too, and I haven't come up with any conclusions.
Oh, Cindy has some conclusions.
You do?
I feel
well. I'm still
alien.
looking into some of it. You know how I am versus you are, and whatever. So
well, because
I look at the science end for me,
right? Because I tune in and I understand things differently than you do. Yes, and you need more.
Are you politely saying I'm dumb?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
I'm just kidding.
I'm literally just saying that I am using a different sense, an extra sense that you're not using at that
Linnell
moment.
says, I have a huge time span in my early years that are blank, have noticed a pattern of individuals who claim experiences without out of worldly life forms. Loss of time memory is common.
Yes. Yeah. My person, she literally had a loss of time. There were several hours because when they got back into the car, they're like, how is it 6 a.m?
Right.
They really could not understand how it could be that time frame. And it was still dark at 6 a.m. When they knew it was like 1 o'clock that they were on their way traveling. So they had about a 5-hour span of difference.
That's very common. Missing time is what the terminology is used within the field, but that's very, very common. And that usually missing times, there's more than one. There's multiple missing time episodes through a person's lifespan. And that's what leads them to a therapist to have hypnotic regression done to help enhance those memories. They'll have nightmares.
Well,
John Mack, who's now deceased, but he was the head of the psychiatry department at Harvard Medical School. He actually wrote a book called Abduction. Highly recommend. Obviously, he's and he did excellent research into the subject. In fact, Harvard was so upset that the head of the psychiatry department of Harvard Medical School is writing a book about abductions. They actually tried to get him removed from Harvard. That's how, great book. He goes into great detail about that. So very common. Very, very common.
It's interesting to me. It really is interesting to me. This is the thing is my person did not want to go further than just knowing and verifying because so many people that have found out or know what happened kind of lose their shit. And she did not want any of that aspect of it. She just wanted to know that it happened to validate her sense, and that was it. She didn't want to know anything else. She didn't want to know any of the procedures they did. She didn't want to know that. She just wanted to verify that they used something to create those scars that scarred her for life, and that's all she wanted. Hey, Chanel.
Go ahead.
Sure. I was just going to say that I think it's pretty I mean, there's a lot of things that you guys are talking about is mainstream stuff when it comes to alien abduction or coming to that stuff. And I was speaking to a couple other people on Talk with Teddy that were a part of Move On, as well as we have here. And some of the common points that they were talking about, which gets missed sometimes, is the it's kind of like a REM sleep. It's like where you do find that loss of time, but there's always something that leads up to it. That it's almost like you're just on the edge of falling asleep, and then there's something there and everybody misses it. And so it's kind of like a point to where they can put you through hypnotism and it can bring you back to that point, so that like what you do, and it can actually show more to them, and they can actually bring them through that stage to actually, so they can open their eyes and see what they were going through. So that loss of time is still in their memory. But it has to be found in a certain way. And some of the other stuff that these guys were talking about was if the person that was abducted was claiming that they were driving at the time, there was always things that they remembered, like the vehicle shutting off, it wouldn't start, it stalled. They would remember they were driving. Yeah, they remember light, they would remember silence, like there was like just complete silence. There was no noise whatsoever.
That's so crazy. That just gave me, because one of the things that she said was, she's like, it's so quiet. She said, it's so quiet. She said, we were driving. So mind you, she's in hypnosis and she's relating back to me. And all of a sudden she stops at one point. So she says, we're driving from Buffalo to Rochester. We're not quite at the Leroy exit. She's like, what's going on? And she literally is going, what's going on? She's starting to panic.
Right.
She's like, it's so quiet. what is going on? And she didn't understand. And then she came out of it, and all she said is what they could remember is they were driving, and then they're on the side of the road.
Now,
that's all they could remember.
Linnell actually brought up a good point. Have noticed a lot of people with prior experiences also have a sixth sense about them as well, more into spirits, etc.
Yes, so that's interesting, Linnell.
But
which
I
is
also
true.
think that the connection there is it's kind of like what we were talking about with the psychic ability of ADD, ADHD.
Right, I have that theory.
Being that and autistic and that spectrum.
Yes, because I literally have found that. It's been my research, right? So over these 20 plus whatever it is now, oh my gosh, almost 25 years that I've been a medium, knowingly been a medium, where I have seen so many kids that have ADD, ADHD, and autism that I can communicate with them, especially kids that are really autistic that don't have those communication skills.
Right.
I literally can see into what they're seeing. I can see their world. I can see what they're understanding. And I have understood over all of this time that those kids have a higher sensitivity to and
well, a lot of them are on a higher level automatically anyway.
Right. We have a higher vibration. We just
exactly.
do. So those of us that have these.
Okay, so let me throw a theory out there.
Okay.
Maybe this is something Jeff can actually, I don't know. I mean, maybe he knows or doesn't know, or maybe it's something that he should look into as well, is that the amount of people that were, let's say that the mass majority of the people that are claiming to have been abducted. Has anybody done a back study on these people to find out if these people had something like that, ADHD, ADD, some type
that would be great
if they had some type of deficiency or
proficiency.
Yeah. Well, also
I don't think it's a disability. I think it's
did they have something that was missing from the norm, I guess, or higher?
If I may, that's the reason I brought up John Mack's work, actually, because he actually went into this to do a 5-year study for Harvard to kind of disprove it. Okay. Yeah. He came back after 5 years of studying, hundreds of people, and again, he's, the PhD psychiatrist, Harvard Medical School, the head of the psychiatry department. And he came back with the complete opposite findings. These people were all within normal ranges. They had no known medical, psychological problems that had ever been diagnosed before. They didn't match any prior known medical issues. So he came to the conclusion, basically, this is either really happening to these people,
right,
or there's a new, psychological issue with human beings that we've never discovered before. Those are the only two possibilities that he could come up with. So it's quite, and to go back to an abductee, it's very odd for someone to be abducted for the first time in their adult stages. It's usually they start at a very young age, and it actually travels through family lines. If you're an abductee, more than likely your parents and your grandparents were. And abductees also have a habit of finding each other. If you're an abductee, more than likely your spouse is.
Right.
It's a very large community. It's very intertwined. And there is some kind of intelligent program behind this, genetically anyway, of why these particular people are being followed and abducted, throughout their lifetimes. And of course, then there's the hybrid program, women are being impregnated. And that's why I asked about the
right.
And this is all documented. It's really quite fascinating, and it's actually really quite scary in a way too, because we don't know what the end game is with these species that are dealing with the human race.
Can I ask a weird question, John?
Absolutely.
Like what? So I've had a couple weird experiences lately. So what is the gestation time frame that women are saying that they've been impregnated?
Oh, it's
like a short amount of time, like a month?
Yeah, it's almost never longer than 9 to 10 weeks.
Okay, so listen, I have to tell you some fucked up shit. I'm not kidding. This is so weird, and so I'm going to tell you something as a woman who has had 3 children. So this is probably TMI, but you're grown up, so grow the fuck up. So women, after we have children, we bleed for almost a month.
Mm-hmm.
But after we have a child, the blood does not smell the same way the normal period blood smells. It's actually a very sweet smell. I have had that happen twice in the last year. Not even a year. It has been the last 9 months.
Wow.
Twice. I literally brought it up to my best friend and said, this is going to sound so weird, but I literally feel like I don't know how to explain it, but I feel like I just had a period after I had a pregnancy.
Have you thought about going to a doctor?
Oh, I've been to my doctor because since these weird things have happened, other weird things have happened that I can't explain.
No, that's not the first time I've heard that, to be honest with you. So,
but it was not anywhere 9 weeks. It would have been a month each time.
Right.
Which seems unrealistic to me, to be honest, right? But the only thing, so when you asked me that earlier, that immediately flashed into my mind because it was literally something I had already thought about. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to say this. But now I don't care if anybody thinks I'm crazy because they already think I'm pretty out there. I'm just putting this on my lap.
That's for sure.
But no, I've had those 2 experiences. And those were my thoughts each time I had them because it's very specific smell. It is a very specific smell.
Robert White says you've had a clone made to be the embryo's womb.
I can't even with you guys right now. This is freaking me out more than you even understand.
Mm.
Do you, and the reason I asked about scar, okay, let's go back a little bit. Have you ever had like nosebleeds that you remember, like abnormal nosebleeds? Do you suffer from that?
My son has been having tons of nosebleeds lately.
That's I don't know if you know anything, how much you know about the subject, but whatever these beings are, as visitors, aliens, dimensional beings, whatever the hell they may be, they track, as I said, the genetic code of these people and their family lines, but they do implants at a very young age, and those implants get updated throughout your growth period as a human being. And one of the areas they put them is they go up through your nose, into your cranium, and it causes nosebleeds. This is a very common thing for abductees to have nosebleeds. These objects actually show up, on CAT scans.
Yes, they do. I do know that.
Yeah, too bad it's expensive.
And the thing is I've had a lot of issues with my nose, and over the years, and I would have these random nosebleeds, and Jet and I have been having them lately. Jet has been ridiculous lately. Like last night, literally, he's like, I got to get in there. I'm like, I got to go to the bathroom, Jet. And he goes, no, Mom, I need to get in there. His nose literally is pouring blood for no reason.
Wow.
And the doctors literally have said that, it's because it's dry in the house. You can't tell me it's too dry in the house. We have the AC going. It's turned off now because it had gotten too cold in the house.
Right.
There wasn't a humidity issue, right? Mm-hmm. And he's literally still doing it. He's been doing it for the last year.
Linnell puts in here, my first experience of seeing a man on the ceiling, man come out of the ceiling, per my mother's words, was when I was 2 years old. I kept saying the gray
Jessica
man is coming in our room,
yes,
Mommy.
That's what
my
Jessica,
twin brother
I'm
and I kept
out.
yelling that to my mom and on a nightly basis.
Mm-hmm. This is why
my stepfather looked. No one was there when we would holler out. I don't remember it, but she and my father used to tell us the story of how my brother and I would say that often when we were little.
So one of the reasons I told them that they were not allowed to take Jessica or myself anymore, that I was rescinding any privilege that they had, is because Jessica was very advanced as a 1 to 2 year old child, because most children don't go 1 and 1 is 2, 2 and 2 is 4. They don't say by the time right before they're a year old, they don't speak so well that they're saying their whole alphabet. They're not doing all of these things. Jessica was very, very smart. She had older cousins that had already learned these things. So Jessica was with them. She had learned these things. Jessica, all of a sudden, she started wetting the bed. She couldn't say her ABCs. And this happened at 2. She couldn't say her ABCs anymore. She kept telling me about, so we had windows that were oblong and like this on either side of the walls. She was underneath my bed. I had my old bed from a teenager, and we had taken out the bottom bunk, and Jessica's little kid bed was there. And she would tell me how the gray man would come out of the window where there was no window and would come and take her.
Wow.
And she told me how he had big black eyes and he was a skinny gray guy.
That's
so I just
very common. Very common.
She called him.
I just want to kind of put the last part of Linnell's thing up here. She says, my nose would be fine when I fall asleep, but when I wake up, it would be broken. Years and years of broken nose issues.
No, I have a deviated septum.
So, okay. So guys, we're going to take a short break. We have to play some commercials here real quick. Don't go anywhere. We're just going to put you on pause. Everybody take a listen.
WLFE-DB Radio is looking for podcasts to join our family. You don't have to fit any strict genre. We're a plethora of shows. If you're looking to jump on a growing network, then contact us at WLFEDBradio@gmail.com. You're listening to WLFE-DB Radio. Now, back to our program.
Okay, so we're sitting here with Jeff
Orechovsky.
Orechovsky.
Hey, you got it.
Yes, my mouth is full of keto candy.
Yep, and and James the Anvil. I want to say Nyhart, but I know it's Milligan. But that's okay. So we have a couple of the comments going on here. David says, I had to refer a case to another paranormal team because I do not have the knowledge of aliens and such. This lady told me that a majority of abductions are people that have red hair and green eyes or have special traits. Is that true?
I've never heard that before. The special traits, so the red hair or the green eyes. I can't say that I've heard that one before or that reflects any of the research I've done. The research I've done, I know a number of abductees, and they're just like you guys and us, normal people to work normal jobs. I know a police officer, former police officer now. I know a guy that's, does lawn care. I mean, it's all aspects of life. The only thing I would say about these people is the intelligence level. I don't want to be mean. It's just slightly higher than I normally encounter. I guess that's the best way to put it. And not meaning that they're book smart. They just have a unique way of looking at things and picking things up, I guess is the best way to put it. They're able to look at society in a different way than a person who's not been abducted. I guess they just again, it's hard to explain, but they just see a bigger picture than the small spectrum that the normal population sees. You know, the normal population, I think you guys are aware, lives inside of a little box.
Right.
And unfortunately, you know, our reality is much larger than the little box that we live in. And these people seem to pick up on that more adaptly than others.
Robert White says they will pick anyone if they have been part of an abductee bloodline. Might miss a generation, but on the whole, they follow the bloodline for abductees.
No, that's very true. Again, they follow that genetic pattern, that genetic code through the family lines. That is very, very accurate. Yes.
So the woman that I was regressing is family blood.
Yeah.
To me.
Oh, well, there you go. More than likely, if you were an abductee or your cousin was an abductee, whatever, if your cousin was an abductee, more than likely you were. If your brother and sister were, you most definitely were. If both your parents were, there's no doubt that you are or were.
I didn't know about my parents.
So, and, you know, people who see UFOs up close, and they may not even realize it because they do not recall the missing time frame, or if they do, they try to rationalize in their mind in a different way. More than likely, they're abductees. So, I'm not talking about one out in the sky that you see from 2 miles away. You're like, oh, it's a blinking light. What the hell is it? I'm talking about one at treetop level and that kind of thing. Or if you see one landed in the field, you know, or something of that nature, more than likely you're an abductee.
Hang on. Can you? So my daughter and I were out here in Ontario, and we were coming back this way, and we were watching it same road for quite a while, and this light just stayed stationary. And so I pulled over, and Jessica and I were really freaked out because nothing should hover that amount of time in one spot. It's not possible.
Right.
It was not possible.
You know, do you have any dreams of UFOs or that kind of thing?
No. I so that's how I say I know that I've been abducted, is because literally I would have dreams of Jessica and I going to this specific house, knowing that the ship is right outside in the woods, and I would be there. But this is one of the things, is they would put me in the house in the attic, and I would be looking out, and they would bring Jessica back to me, and I was so pissed. I can remember that would happen when I was.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you a question, Jeff, myself, because I had mentioned this to Cindy a couple times. It was brought up to me where I was working at the time because of this COVID thing. I'm not working. This is kind of a weird story, but I'm sure you've heard some weird ones like we have. I was working. And I got a text message on my phone, go outside and look above the building. And I'm like, well, why? And they're going, there's an orange sphere, orange ball, large ball, probably about the size of a Volkswagen Rabbit or a Volkswagen Bug, hovering over the building.
Wow.
And this happened on several occasions, but it was only when I was working.
That is very odd. You may want to look into your past, my friend. you might have some uncovered memories there, uncovered events, I should say.
Yeah.
Have you heard anything like that before?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Orange balls,
orange ball,
red, green, you name it. I've yellow. Yes. Oh yes. These things take all shapes, all forms, all colors, multiple. They can be together. They can. I've heard stories where they'll see one object or one ball, if you will, and they'll split into 3 or 4, and then later they'll combine back into each other again. Just the craziest stuff you'll ever hear. But again, it's coming, and a lot of times, I'll get reports from people who are with somebody else, so there's somebody else seeing this with them. So it's not just them seeing.
Right.
There's someone to collaborate what you're seeing. The Hudson Valley region of New York back in the 80s was famous for a boomerang-shaped UFO sightings. I mean, like literally, there was one night alone, there was 7,000 people saw it together. You know, it's kind of like the Phoenix Lights event back from the 90s, but this happened in New York State. And there was a book called Night Siege just about the Hudson Valley UFO sightings. It was that large and that many people saw it. We're talking, you know, police officers, state troopers, lieutenant governor. I was one of the people that saw it. I mean, it was just an extraordinary amount of people saw these objects, you know, through a year period over the Hudson Valley region of New York State. And this thing was gigantic. You know, people would say it was, you know, 2 to 3 aircraft carriers, you know, in size from wingtip to wingtip. It would hover over the sky, it made no noise. It would blank out the stars, and all you could see was the craft itself. Many abduction scenarios, you know, contributed to that particular craft or crafts. And the only thing you would see in the media at the time, and you know, the book put these clippings, you know, in the book for you, you could read it. But the different newspapers would run, you know, the police say, or the military said it was, you know, ultralights, and FAA said it was ultralights flying in formation at night with lights on. I mean, just the craziest stuff, but no one was ever arrested because it's illegal to fly an ultralight at night. None of this ever happened. There was never any follow-up. So, you know, those stories were planted, you know, just to keep the public calm. But
how long ago was this, Jeff?
This was I want to say 82 to 87 or 83 to 87, some right in that frame. Night Siege is the name of the book.
Night Siege. Interesting.
Night Siege. Yep.
Well, so there's a lot that could happen on that route from Buffalo to Rochester. I could see easily how it would be an easy abduction.
New York has got one of the highest number of UFO sightings. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
remember seeing that because you know who showed me?
Tim Conwell.
Yes, I'm surprised he's not on here actually. Tim.
Yeah, so there has been. I mean, and his father was Tom Conwell that wrote 10 books at least on UFOs. And all that stuff.
Yep.
But
he's here in New York too.
Yeah,
both
they're
of them
both
are
in New York. And but I like MUFON. I have friends that work for MUFON. Well,
Yeah.
you know, Cookie works for MUFON.
Cookie. The Cookster.
And Jack for GVPI, who is a 32-year vet for the state police. He works for MUFON as well as GVPI.
Yep.
And he's told us his stories as well. So, you know, it's kind of weird that he said if you've been abducted, the abductees tend to find abductees.
True.
That's kind of weird.
That's crazy. Actually, you just gave me goosebumps. You're freaking me out about my son. I'm getting a little emotional.
I'm just saying that it's weird. Julie says I had something happen around that time in Wayne County. She said so that would be up here in New York as well.
Julie, that's interesting. Hi, Jules. I didn't even realize it was you.
Yeah. So it's funny how all of this. Now I'm going to kind of shift this discussion a little bit to a specific question. What is your belief that Bigfoots are somehow interacting with UFOs and aliens?
I'm not sold on that, to be honest with you.
Say that again. Wait,
he's not sold on it. And that's exactly what
Sold
all
on
the and most of the MUFON people I talk to are not either.
Wait, sold on what though?
Sold on Bigfoot and UFOs being connected in some way, shape, or form.
But I do, I guess, because I believe in portals. I have that knowledge and belief of portals. I have a freaking portal in my house. I know this.
All right. But they exist. I just want to know what his opinion was, because it seems like there has been a few stories or comments from people saying that where they saw Bigfoot, they saw aliens or UFOs.
There are some, but I would say in my research, well over 95%, there's no Sasquatch mentioned. The Sasquatch not seen on the craft. Sasquatch not seen on the ground when the abductees being returned or being taken to the craft. There's no Bigfoot hanging out in the spaceship with the aliens doing the anal probes. You know, so I've never seen it myself in any case that I've studied.
Let me ask you another question. What was the last time you heard of them doing that type of probing, anal probe or any of that stuff? What was the last time you've...
Actually, the anal probe is a very common procedure. It's not something that doesn't not happen. It's particularly on the male, it's a very common procedure. Now, why they want to check out our assholes, excuse my language, why they want to check out our butts, I don't know why. You know, but whatever the device is meant for, it's taking some kind of sample or implanting something in the process.
Well, because I have spoken to a couple of abductees, and they said that doesn't happen anymore.
I don't know. I've seen it in almost everything. And, And I've seen it where the ones that can recall the most, with the aggression, they're the ones that can tell the most. There are medical procedures that happen in almost every single abduction scenario. And a lot of these medical procedures have never been written in a book. And the researchers purposely do that so people won't fabricate stories to and make their story look real. Well, this happened and it matches, John Doe's. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So the researchers, there's very specific medical procedures that happen in these abductions. Anal probes are one of them, but that's well reported. I mean, Eric Cartman had one, for Christ's sakes, on South Park. But it's a very, very common procedure. Scoop marks, taking skin samples, sperm samples, every single time. That always happens. That's a no-brainer. They put implants. They'll take your eyeball out. They'll put an implant inside one of your eyes, behind your eyeball. Again, I don't know what that's for. I think it's some kind of camera so they can see what you see. But there is very specific things that they do almost to every single abductee. And it's important to realize there's more than one species involved here. The Greys are the most reported upon, but there are other species that engage in these activities. And we don't know, at least, the paranormal field, or whatever you want to clarify it as, we don't know what the relationship between these different species are, if they're working in cahoots, if they're working separately, if they're working against each other. We have no idea. We're at the mercy of these things, what it basically boils down to.
Okay, so a couple questions. Actually, one is a statement I'm going to say from Robert. He says radiation levels are easier to obtain from the
butt. Apparently.
So he's thinking that.
What do you need?
Let me just want to technical difficulty in the moment.
Okay. All right.
But what about the rest of the pack?
Hello, Joe Chase.
Okay. Is everything plugged in?
Yeah, everything's plugged in.
All right, it's not charging. Not charging.
Let's find out why it's not charging.
We're trying to make sure we don't.
For a new show.
My daughter. So the funny part is so Linnell was talking. I want to say this comment. Interesting, Cindy, on your comment about your daughter having math and vocabulary. My daughter having math and vocabulary at 2 years old that the normal 2-year-old doesn't have. My oldest at 2 was using words and sentence structure that a 5 or 6-year-old would have. The doctors were astonished. My 2 youngest, a son and daughter, same thing, complete adult conversation type sentence structure and literally using phrases like, well, actually, I beg to differ, the correct word or way to say this or that, etc. at 2 years old, and would talk to things I couldn't see all the time. I have to say, this is exactly, so Jet is my youngest. Jessica was very smart and all of a sudden completely retrograded and started peeing herself, could not say her ABCs, could not count anymore at the age of 2, where she completely just stopped everything. And I had to retrain her, reteach her everything she had learned. So then Jet, my youngest, who is now 15, he literally would speak so well that in kindergarten, his teacher came to me and said, Cindy, I have to remind myself that Jet is 5 years old. And I'm like, what do you mean by that? She says, I forget that I'm talking to a bunch of kindergartners because I have Jet in my class, because I say something and Jet understands me just like I'm talking to you right now. Because Jet can understand me so well, I have to then go and retell all of these 5-year-olds what to do because Jet understands me and just does it. But because I have to go back and basically dumb it down for all the other 5-year-olds so they would understand what she was saying. So, Linnell, I completely understand what you're talking about because Teachers have literally talked to me about Jet and the way he can
Okay,
speak.
so Julie puts on here, Cindy, I was with my mom, Route 31 in Macedon.
I knew you were going to say Macedon, Julie.
A huge white light hovered over us while we were in a parking lot. It was
I had
large.
goosebumps.
It stayed in place for quite a while. Then it changed shape and took off. Mom and I couldn't believe it. It also had no sound.
I have goosebumps all over my body. The truth has been spoken. Julie, it is the truth.
You know, it's funny because I have a memory that I don't know if I actually saw this or if it's just something that was implanted in my head and it's weird. That I was standing on the side of the road looking in the field, and my uncle was on a tractor and a UFO flew by. And it was a disc. And I've always remembered that since I was a kid. And I don't remember if I actually saw that or if it was something that I made up or if it was something that was just implanted in my head. It's weird, huh?
I don't think it's implanted. I think that's something that
maybe it's something I just saw and I just kind of put it in my past and my brain somewhere in the back of my mind or something. Who knows? But I wasn't into UFOs and all that stuff when I was a kid. I was only into ghosts and stuff. I saw a ghost. I would say a ghost, but even though we don't know if they really exist, but I was my uncle and I were in a tractor and we were coming up a hill and the tractor stopped.
What?
And it stopped on this hill. It just died. And where the tractor died was a house to our left.
Stop it.
And this little house is now gone. It's no longer there.
Well, that energy is still though.
This man walked through the door.
Oh my God.
Out to his porch and asked if my uncle wanted a glass of iced tea.
Shut the front door.
And my uncle said no. And the guy said, okay, have a good day. And walked back through the door. And then the tractor started and we went on our business.
Dude.
Weird.
Dude, I have goosebumps again.
Yeah. So I've always had little incidences like that. Always in my whole life. Certain little things that just.
How old were you?
Probably 8. I've seen a lot in my day, but I looked for that stuff too, though. I would go out, by myself, wandering in these big, huge fields, looking up in the sky, or, I was just a weird kid. So,
I said that about myself too. I've told you that.
Let's see, golden flammosoid. Okay, that's an interesting name. Hey guys, just tuning in a bit late, but so good to see your faces. What you talking about? Is this somebody you guys know?
Actually, it is.
It is. We both know.
Flammosoid. I love it.
Okay.
That's cool.
So we're talking about everything. Literally everything.
Everything. Yeah. So
no Bigfoot, huh? That's weird because I don't know. All right. So first off, let's put this out there that I would never tell anybody they have to believe anything. That's up to them. It's them finding their own truth. Okay. So if they tune in here and when they're watching us right now and they're just like, it's a bunch of poppycock,
right?
Then that's fine.
That's fine if you believe that.
That's good. I
like skeptics. I'm fine with that.
I'm skeptical too, but I'm not going to put them down for that. But anyways, there are a mass amount of people in this world that believe certain things. And the last time I believe it was the 90s. I think it was late 90s or early 2000s. They took a poll. I think it was 42 or 43% of the population believed in UFOs, aliens, or hauntings or ghosts and so on and so forth. So, and I guess the cryptids would fall in there as well.
Yeah.
I know that the mass majority of the civilization has been changing. They're becoming more awake to this stuff because of media and because we're talking more about it than what we ever could before.
Right.
30 years ago, you couldn't, even 25 years ago, 20 years ago, you couldn't talk about this stuff without being, kind of laughed at or pointed at. We still get laughed at, but whatever. But there is so much out there that we're finding. And just like with the government releasing certain things now, what's funny, Jeff, is I saw a post and it was from, I believe it was a news reporter to a general or something like that with the State Department. and the State Department was talking about, and the government was talking about UFOs. Yes, we have been studying the phenomenon UFOs and UAPs. Is that what they call them?
Yeah.
Okay, so
wait, what's the UAP mean?
Unidentified aerial
phenomenon.
Phenomenon. Projectile. Like vomiting.
Right.
Anyways, this reporter responded back to this person, and I laughed my ass off for a good couple seconds. The reporter said, "Why in the hell would we believe you now when you guys have been covering this up for more than 70 years?"
Right, and
saying that it didn't
and telling
exist.
us that we are fucking lunatics.
So why would we now believe you? You know, and I laughed my ass off.
Right.
I mean, Jeff, I mean, Project Blue Book came out, 30 years ago, 40 years ago?
Yeah, 67, 68. Well,
that was the year, like 67.
The proof that we're being visited is already out there. It's released. I mean, if people had any question, I mean, this is how ridiculous the amount of evidence actually is. The CIA 2 years ago, one day, well, actually, no, it's almost 4 years ago now. One day before Trump took office, and you can look up the dates. I make exactly one day before he is in office, sworn in, the CIA dumped 13 million documents on UFOs onto the internet. 13 million from the CIA alone. And all the time they claimed they had nothing. The documents before, people would have to file the Freedom of Information Act against the CIA, the FBI, and the NSA, the Air Force Intelligence as well, and the Defense Department. And they would release these documents almost completely blacked out with the words "the" or "it" or "he" or that kind of thing on it. So UFO researchers would take these documents, these blacked out documents, and made for great TV and these documentaries. Look, this is all we got. We spent, X amount of dollars, suing the government. This is all we got. Everything's blanked out. If UFOs don't exist, how can they be a threat to national security? Excellent point. So the government got smart. Okay. So what they did, instead of blacking the documents out, they would white them out. So it made terrible TV after that for these documents. I ain't making this up. You can't make this shit up. So these guys at the CIA that are in these little programs and the NSA, they were watching these documentaries and figure, all right, okay, how do we fix this aspect of it now? But almost everything is out there now. We know for a fact this isn't conjecture. This isn't, maybe we did this. We know for a fact from the CIA's own files that is back, when they were formed in 1950, it was 51, 1950, right around that. It was in 1947. It was signed into law. The National Security Act was signed into law, but right after Roswell, by the way, 20 days after Roswell, the National Security Act was signed into law by Truman, which led to the beginning of the CIA and the NSA. But way back then, even, you can see the documents where we had operatives, the CIA did, and the NSA around the planet gathering information on UFOs from other countries, meaning sightings, shapes, pictures, witness descriptions. All this was compiled by our government, and it's a fact. It's not make-believe. We didn't know what they were. We thought the Russians, it was the Soviet Union. We found out after the Cold War, they were just as confused as we were. Okay? Their own files have been released. So this phenomenon it's a fact. It's going on. Our government knows it's going on. Look at the tapes from the Navy that were released on Fox News unofficially, unofficially. And then now, the Pentagon and Navy have said, yes, they're real, and they released the full tapes themselves. We know these objects were real. We now see them on the F-18s, gun cameras in the infrared, and we see it on the radar tapes. And, it's no coincidence that a week after Fox News runs with this story from their unnamed source within the Pentagon, okay, and they had these tapes that were still classified at the time, and they show them to the public. A week later, Trump brings up the Space Force. He's going to form a Space Force. Within that same year, it was signed into law that we needed to have a U.S. Space Force. It's no coincidence, in my opinion, anyway.
I think it's funny that they actually changed to where the policy so that the Navy pilots could say, hey, this is what I
well,
saw.
they were
going to
do it anyway. It didn't. They were either. They said that we're either coming and telling everybody, or you're going to stand behind us.
Right.
They said that.
But I think it's something that should have happened a long time ago.
Absolutely. But this is the thing. I want your opinion. Do you think that Trump is a lizard?
No. No, he's a lizard. Oh, gosh.
Here we go.
No, not at all. No.
I do feel that way.
Okay, Julie says,
Trump, no.
Julie says my ex-husband saw what he thought was a Bigfoot-like creature walk across the road into a cornfield. Really freaked him out. He described it as incredibly tall, fast-moving, upright, walked extremely fast. I think he said the eyes glowed when his headlights it moved on me, so I had to try and catch it. Headlights shined on it. It was about 4 a.m. in Hopewell, New York.
Oh yeah.
It freaked him out. He just couldn't believe the height and speed. Now, what's amazing about this is, like, we know that there have been sightings in Nunde,
really?
Greece. We know there have been sightings in Short Track. We know there have been sightings in.
Hopewell is basically it's Canandaigua.
Canandaigua.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we know that there have been sightings in New York State.
Yeah.
I work alongside Steve Culls, which is a Squatch detective here out of New York. I also work with Mike, and he's on here as well from Tactical Bigfoot Research. We know that people are seeing these things from Bergen to Brockport, Batavia, down south. There have been sightings, and people claim to see these things, these creatures, and who am I to say that they don't exist, or they didn't see them? I should say, because I sit on the spectrum of, I'm in the middle. I don't necessarily believe, but I would like to believe. You know what I mean? So unless I have more fact or something that gives me a little more to research on it, I pretty much have to say I would like to believe that Bigfoot exists. The same with UFOs, the same with ghosts, the same with everything within the paranormal field. Unfortunately, where I sit, for some people that truly, truly believe, I'm in their way sometimes because I am not a true believer.
Right.
But you know what? At least I'm willing to give them a different perspective and to help them understand what I'm seeing from my side. That's the way I've been looking at it.
What is RHPS? What does that mean?
That is oh shit.
They're making fun of me because I said I have always thought that Trump was a lizard.
Yeah, she has.
I have.
A reptile.
A reptilian.
That is shoot.
He is.
I can't remember what that is. Something blah, 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 blah.
What is it, Robert? What's RPH or RHPS?
It's I can't remember. I just saw it too, but it doesn't matter.
I don't know what that means.
Well, as we're trying to figure that out, we'll go back to your point you made about being on the fence or being in the middle and trying to give a different perspective. I totally understand that. What I do with UFOs and Sasquatch is I don't go out and try to convince anyone they're real. That's for other people.
I don't think that's the position.
Myself by listening to some witnesses and seeing so many stories and so many reports. Yeah. I have a good feeling for myself of what it is and what it isn't. What I find most with witnesses that I interview for either phenomena is they're not looking to tell the world. They're looking to tell one person. Just they want to get it off their chest. Say that you're not going to believe what I saw. My family will think I'm crazy. I don't want to lose my job. I've heard everything, and people just want to tell somebody what they saw, and they want that outlet, and that's what I provide. I provide that outlet for people to tell their story. I don't share their stories. If I share their story, I change enough details that no one could ever figure out who the hell they were or what part of the country they're from. Right. And I think that's very important. People just need that outlet. They need some way of getting the information out, someplace, to get it off their chest, if you will.
And I'm about the same way. I mean, with all the research that I've done over 34 years, going on 35 years in the paranormal field, I've seen a lot of things that I can't explain, but I am not quick to jump to say that it's haunted or it's a ghost or it's this or that.
That's very true.
I will not do that.
Right.
Unfortunately, until the society and our environment and our community and our science and everything around us come to a better way of conducting the research and the right tools and so on and so forth, we're kind of stuck where we are. And we can't prove. We can, however, debunk some of this stuff. But if it comes down to where the debunking doesn't actually lead as a good conclusion, then you're left there with, say, like what I have a pile of X-Files, which is things that I cannot explain. And you just sit there and you scratch your head, like a chimpanzee and go, I don't know.
I literally just got so tired.
It's just one of those things. Joe Chase says, Jeff, you're correct. Most don't want to tell what they saw and can't explain.
Right.
And why would you? I mean, it's one of those things that you don't want to look stupid. It's like back in the 60s and 70s or even the 80s. When you saw a ghost, or if you saw something like that didn't make sense, you didn't go to your priest. You didn't go and talk to anybody about it because you didn't want to be looked upon as being crazy.
Right. Labeled.
So it's the same thing with everything else. You take it with a grain of salt, and if it's your truth, it's your truth, and it really doesn't matter what anybody else thinks anyway.
My truth is Trump is a fucking lizard. He's a reptilian.
Oh, yeah.
We got 4 more years of him.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
We don't talk politics here.
Yes, we do.
No, we don't. So, all right. So, James, you've been sitting there nice and quiet. So let's get you.
I find Jeff's talking about the stuff fascinating.
He is very fascinating. I enjoy this.
Yeah. So, what is your opinion of some of this stuff?
I find it interesting that a lot of things happen in the same areas. Sometimes they get labeled as a triangle or an octagon or whatever it is, but just like the UFO sightings along the Hudson Valley, usually you hear stuff about Bigfoot sightings in that area as well. And I think that's why people jump to the conclusion that the two are connected. But I think it's just the area. It could be ley lines. It could be the magnetism of the area, or it could just be weird shit happens in areas.
Natural phenomena.
And that's the way it happens.
I mean, there are natural phenomenons in this world. We know this. We've studied them ourselves. There are connective spots where ley lines come together that actually center where a lot of the ley lines connect. Yeah. It puts off an electromagnetic field and it vibrates. We know that. And in fact, I had a friend who was researching this stuff, and he used to call them short for locations was Loki. And they were spots all over the world. In fact, he was in Africa working on it. And he was, for the research that he had done, he was working with the Alexandria Holzer. I was brought in on that as well. So he was actually going to use GVPI to go over there to do the research on the Loki that he had found. And or the location, I should say. He called them Loki because it was short for it. And the magnetic pull or the vibrations from that was so intense, he said.
And where was this located?
This was in Africa, I believe, or Brazil. One of the two, I think it was Brazil. I don't remember. But I have the paperwork. But this was many years ago, and he actually was murdered. And some of this information was wiped clean from his computer.
Wow.
Of course it was.
So there are some things that people are studying and researching in this field that we don't know if it was government. We don't know what it was, but he was murdered for it. So there is still some things out there in this research that we don't know, but we do know that underlining effect is this, that there are natural phenomenons that happen. And we know that there is a natural EMF field that runs through us all the time, just like there is man-made EMF.
Yes.
But who's to say there isn't some other type of energy out there that's doing the same thing? Because we don't have all the knowledge. We're still a young species, to be honest.
We really are.
And the whole paranormal field is just like I've always said, just scratching the surface. We don't have enough information about it yet. We're still trying to find our thumb from our ass sometimes. I mean, to be honest with you,
I know the difference.
No, okay. Well, I'm just being, I was just saying that, but there's a lot out there that we don't know. Shit, we have not even gotten to the bottom of the ocean yet.
True.
Yeah.
Mariana's Trench, right?
They just found that some of the great whites, some of the biggest great whites, will go to the bottom of the ocean.
Wait, why though?
They don't know why. They're not able to follow them down there, but they're able to go down and then come back up. I saw that today.
Listen, Mariana's Trench is so deep.
Let's see. Let's go here to Golden with another comment. And it's or the government normally made these paranormal places national parks so that they could control the information pertaining to them, like the disappearances, disappearances that David Paladis writes and talks about.
Yes.
Tom Naley says, "I bless the rains down in Africa." Oh, he's singing the song.
I bless the rains down in Africa.
All right. Robert White says there's stuff they consider to be sensitive to be out there yet. I agree. Bottom feeders. Well, I don't think great whites are bottom feeders, but I don't know. But there is just so much out there that we don't know. And when it comes to information, we're still kind of behind on getting what we need. And go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to just go back to one of the comments was made about, areas being made into national parks or put off limits or that kind of thing by one of the viewers or commentators. There's a lot of truth to that. And that right in New York State, we have that. There's an area called Connecticut Hill Gamelands, or not Gamelands, Connecticut Hill. It's a wildlife natural preserve here in New York State right outside of Ithaca.
Yep, I know where it is.
It is literally, you can research it hundreds of years, even with Indian legend. This is a Sasquatch, Bigfoot hotbed,
What's the name of it, Jeff?
Connecticut Hill.
Oh, interesting.
It's right outside of Ithaca. And I used to camp there and do my Sasquatch research there. I would call, you had to call ahead, and get a permit. You get a stuff from the state saying it was okay to camp there. It was about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I tried to get a permit again and they denied it. And I kept pushing them for a reason, and they would never answer the reason why they won't let anyone camp there anymore. But that area, literally lots of Sasquatch sightings right outside of Connecticut Hill. All around the town, Newfield, the different little communities in that area. And you just can't.
And again, it's not just Sasquatch. Also UFO sightings, right?
Yeah, I guess there's some UFO sightings out there.
And there's some abandoned cemeteries and stuff up there.
Yep.
And it's also an interesting place for paranormal ghost hunting. It's all three. It's the trifecta of the paranormal world up in that area.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of places like that, though. I'm going to interrupt you because there has been a lot of things seen in. We have Letchworth State Park here, which is very close to us, and I'm sure you guys have heard of it. Letchworth State Park has also had Sasquatch sightings.
Really?
So, but they were the conservation was trying to keep it under wraps. The state and government, the state conservation. But unfortunately, it has been, said. So there are people now. There are some other facts about Letchworth State Park that people don't know. Witches gather at Letchworth State Park as well to raise energy there. So there's a lot of energies that are in.
I want to know when they're
Letchworth
there.
State Park. There's also a lot of pagan festivals there. There's a lot of things as an energy goes that is centered within Letchworth State Park. And because of that draw, that's where all these people go. So it makes sense that maybe Bigfoot would be there as well because of the energy pull.
Right.
Letchworth State Park has a lot of energy. Plus, if you think about this, it's got a natural energy because of the falls. It's almost like Niagara Falls. It's just smaller.
All the rock formations as well.
But there's so much there, and it's got trails. It's got all that stuff. But there's a lot in Letchworth State Park that people don't realize. There's the longhouses from Mary Jameson there. There's some of that stuff as well. So there's a lot of history there and a lot of energy from the past, as well as the future. So. I mean, there are draws in every.
So
part
wait,
of,
are you saying that's a portal for the future? What are you saying about that?
I'm just saying there's a lot of energy there. I'm just saying that's that.
I almost got him, people.
No, she didn't.
I'd like to make a correction if I could, really quick. I said outside of Ithaca. I meant Elmira.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I do apologize. I got a little excited. So
that's so funny because I kept seeing Elmira in my head when you were saying Ithaca. I'm like,
Well,
So I actually got the right place. You sent me the right location in my brain. I did receive it as Elmira instead because I'm the one who re-asked you. So you sent the location of Elmira to my brain, and that's what I saw.
I'm sure both of you have heard of Whitehall, New York.
Well,
Yes.
Everyone knows.
Sasquatch Detective does a lot of things up in Whitehall, New York. It also has a lot of Bigfoot sightings as well.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the most well-known places in New York.
Right. Yes, we've talked about that before.
Yep. Some of the other things that people that are listening that maybe would like to know. 315ers. They have a lot of sightings out there, but they need to learn how to stay away from the alcohol.
Stop it! I'm a 3-1. We're in 315ville right now. That's what Ontario is. He's so crazy. You better watch out. These 315ers will whoop your ass.
Bring it on, baby. Bring it on. Anyways, other places that have had similar type energy that draws people such as psychics and witches and pagan followers and sightings of Bigfoot and so on and so forth. Another place like that is Yellowstone National Park.
Oh, really?
So there are many locations, especially, and this is something I don't know if you knew this, Jeff, but I'm sure you do.
Chase the rains down in
I'm sure you do, but a lot of state parks with a lot large areas have sightings of a lot of cryptids as well as UFOs and a lot of that stuff.
They also have a large percentage of missing people, which I'm sure you're well researched into that.
I was going to bring that up because what is that big case that they were?
And Letchworth has a lot of deaths.
They were missing from up this way, I thought, or up north, and then the guy that was missing was actually found in the woods. He came up missing in the woods up north and ended up being found in California woods, and everybody couldn't understand how he could have gotten there. And that's one of the things that why
are you
the
poking
portal,
me?
I didn't poke you. Oh, maybe I did. Portal dot has come up. Curvilicious. That's me, Teddy.
No, it's not. It's
I'm
me. That's why I'm wearing it.
I'm curvilicious.
No, I am. So,
curvilicious.
Those guys are like,
So, yeah, you can't see me dancing and stuff because my boobs. You can't see
where my hands are right now.
What's that?
You can't see where my hands are right now.
You can't see hers either.
Right.
Anvil's smiling for a reason. Trust me.
I am.
He's laughing.
Oh, Joe says many people go missing in state parks
and
never found.
And they're never found.
That is absolutely true.
But that's one of the things is this guy went missing in a state park and then was found thousands of miles away in a state park in California.
Question for Jeff. Does Connecticut Hill area have trails or is it all bushwhack to explore?
It's actually got it. All right. There's a lot of history to this particular location. At one point, it was actually a big campground on top of a mountain, maybe 100 years ago. I don't know. So there are roads, dirt paths, if you will, that you can drive a four-wheel drive vehicle into deep into these areas. There are paths, if you will, trail paths, game trails that you can follow. It's a very large area. It's not illegal to go there. You can drive up there during the day and you can, if you have a four-wheel drive vehicle, you can get out and do your thing and do your research if you wish. You just can't camp there at night anymore. They won't give you a permit.
And that's funny because and I'm not sure if that's the same here with Letchworth these days, but it seems like there's a lot of things that have changed, especially in the past 2 or 3 years, where there have been sightings of certain things that they're not allowing you to camp there anymore. And I believe Letchworth is the same way, unless you're renting one of their cabins. You cannot camp other than that scenario. You used to be able to.
Right.
So I'm not sure. I am actually going to look into that now because it's one of those places that I love. Now there's another park south of me. I want to call it it's in Dansville. God, I can't remember. But I don't know if anything's ever been seen there. But the farther you go down towards, say, Andover, New York, Alfred College, stuff down that way. There's a large park area as well, and it stumps me for some reason. But I know Pogue's Hole is down there, which is a famous site for motorcyclists or motorcycle. What do they call them? The BMX. They use these things to go up these big hills. I mean. There's a lot of areas that people have claimed, but in recent past here in just our area, Bigfoot sightings have been in like the city of Greece or the town of Greece. I mean, you're right outside the city of Rochester.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of people there. So to have a Bigfoot sighting and something like that is kind of freaky. But what's weird is that we've also had UFO sightings right off of Lake Ontario.
Right. Right.
So
you gotta remember too that, as a society, in New York State, in every state, really, we're pushing further and further into the natural resources of every state. So we're, again, I'm no big green guy or anything like that, but we're definitely, affecting the natural balance of things. I think anyone can agree upon that. And by doing so, maybe some of these species, are reacting to our encroachment, upon their territory or what they perceive to be their territory.
Well, we know that the smaller animals are. We know that the deer have. We know that the fox. We know that the coyote. That all these are now becoming seen more in residential areas.
Correct.
I think it's going to happen no matter what we do, because the bigger our population, the as you said, the more state parks are going to disappear, the more of this other land is going to disappear. And eventually we'll find out whether Bigfoot's real or not, because there won't be any hiding spots left for them if we keep going.
Exactly.
I was going to say to Joe, Greece had many sightings, including bears in the past 2 weeks. We just had a second bear sighting in my small town. Right on the front porch of a neighbor.
So right here in Wayne County, 20 minutes, if even 15 minutes away in Marion, there was a bear seen walking in a yard. My girlfriend tells me today, now that was like 2 weeks ago, she told me that. Today, right on 104, there was a bear crossing 104 near where I live.
Yeah, well,
and
it's not uncommon anymore.
And there was a bear, a mama bear and a baby cub walking through the town. And it must be here in Wayne County, because
I live out in the country. I live an hour from the studio. I live an hour from here. I do live out in the country. And so for me, it's not uncommon to see, bear scat or bear tracks or coyote or bobcat or anything. In fact, we've had more bobcat sightings in the past 2 years than we have in years. And I don't know, who else has seen a bobcat, but they're definitely something to be aware of.
Yeah.
And the bear sightings are just as well. I mean, we're getting them a lot. I found bear scat right by the corner of my house.
Yeah, and that's what I was just going to bring up.
And it's it probably, I mean, one of these days maybe I'll walk down back in my place. I have a large lot there with trees and several acres of land. And maybe I'll walk down and I'll find Bigfoot standing there. Who knows? Yes, Ted lives in the sticks, Tom.
Tom is a lot like me. He thinks in lyrics, obviously.
Barry Marsh says Connecticut Hill Wildlife Management Area is just southeast of the Finger Lakes National Forest that I've explored.
Yeah, I saw that. Mm-hmm.
Cool. Joe says, Ted, they call your area the sticks.
Yeah.
Yes. That's fine, because I constantly tell people we have more cows than people, which is true.
Yeah. Well, we have more apple orchards here in Wayne County.
So, I mean, what
than people.
what is your opinion, Jeff, of like, where do you think we're going to go from here?
In what?
And just with the whole thing with UFOs and big, what is your opinion of what we're going to see in the next 10, 15 years?
With the UFOs, it's really anybody's guess. I think with the formation of the Space Force, and then we've got or space.
Are you really talking about Space Force? That's the one that Trump created, correct?
That's the next. That is the newest branch.
The sixth branch of the military.
Yeah, it is official sixth branch of the military.
The most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
It's true though. Unfortunately, it's true.
There's two sides to that coin. Actually, you are correct. It's kind of ridiculous, and in a way, it's kind of illegal too. We signed, a treaty with the UN. I think it was 1958 or 59. That no one would militarize space. No country would have domination over space. No one could put, missiles on the moon, that kind of crap. No one could do that. No country could do that. And by the formation of the Space Force, we're basically going to weaponize space. We're going to weaponize our satellites. This is the next step. I don't agree with this at all. To me, Space Force is not designed for us to compete against China or Russia. It's designed for something else out there. And by doing so, if you have an advanced alien race or races coming to this planet, okay, they're getting from there to here, okay, that's like tugging on Superman's cape. To me, this is beyond stupid to put weapons into space against something that's so far advanced beyond you. It's unbelievable. And so that makes no sense to me whatsoever.
This is why we need to get Trump out of office, because he's a fucking dumbass.
Hey, if we put weapons in space, doesn't that automatically make us to, like, say, alien life forms? Doesn't it automatically say that we are
on alert, on threat?
Well, yeah, that we're a threat automatically.
Absolutely.
Or we're trying to be a threat. I mean,
it's
and nobody thinks but me that alien is a fucking lizard.
Alien is a fucking lizard.
That Trump is a fucking alien lizard.
If you look at
Ryan James.
If you look at, all right, let's take Tesla, the car company, electric car company. Okay, you can buy stock in Tesla. Anyone can buy stock in Tesla. Okay, yeah. It's on the stock exchange.
Correct.
SpaceX, okay, which cost way more to begin, 10 times, 100 times more than Tesla cost, right? Is privately funded and privately owned. Okay, you cannot buy stock in SpaceX. There's no way for you to invest in that company because that company has undisclosed people providing money to have that program started. Right. In my opinion, because of that, anything we get from SpaceX, just like the astronauts, they're U.S. astronauts, they're from NASA. They are debriefed 48 hours before they're allowed to speak to the public when they return from a mission, just like any other NASA astronaut would be. Okay, to me, what we're going to get from SpaceX is going to be very filtered, in my opinion, and I believe Elon Musk must be in on this. He has to have some knowledge in order to be working with U.S. government to put people into space and to be that kind of someone is funding that program. It's not Elon. He doesn't have that kind of money. No one individual does. That money came from someplace. Journalists should be asking questions. Where did this money come from? How did this company get started? Who's funding it? To me, these are fundamental questions to understand who's controlling the knowledge when it comes to UFOs.
Well, now let's put this on the table because I firmly believe that anything that's privately funded like that, like what you're saying, with this money is coming from somewhere, of course. And if it's privately funded, if it's privately, let's say, owned, because that's the way it's going to be. They're going to be in charge of so much more of our government and everything else that basically we're saying, here's this privately funded organization that's doing all this stuff. And then here's our government. Okay. I've got to put my hand in there so people can say it. So we have both of these out there. And then you have this little tiny, give me your hand. Then you got this hand over here. So you have privately funded. You have our government and our funding, and then you have the people. Okay, so
but that's what my point is the people are not going to allow this bullshit.
I don't think they're right now. We know the government has got things in place that has been working on it for 50 years. Now wait, let me finish.
Already. We are revolting already.
Let me finish here. Okay. That this stuff has been funded and been out of our control for many years.
Very true.
It's going to stay that way because no matter what we say, if it's privately funded, we as a people have no rights to it.
Nope.
Whatsoever.
Nope. Isn't that what happened to NASA? NASA's no longer funded by the government. They are privately funded, if I'm not mistaken.
No, they're still within the budget. I can't remember what the budget. It's actually increased under Trump. He gave them more money every year.
Right. They are a government facility.
I didn't think I thought they were.
But anything that's privately
defunded.
owned, and that's why this happens when it's taken and it goes from government to privately owned. It means that the general public will never know unless they decide to share it with us, and they're only going to tell us the small amount. They're not going to tell us everything.
Right, exactly.
It's kind of like this whole thing with, and here's a subject that we have not gotten to, but and I'm still looking to get somebody to talk about it. But it's the same with gene splicing. The same with. We as individuals, like we know that they are taking, and it's been on TV before, and I think it was on 2020 or something like that, where they're taking human genes and mixing them with animal genes. They are trying to create different type creatures.
Oh my gosh.
They've been doing this for years. They've been doing this for years. The same with recreating like life from cells that like from dinosaurs and shit like that. I mean, it's always going to happen. We have no control over it. I mean, and we can sit here and just guess and theorize and hypothesize and dream of the most fantastical things in the world. And our government's probably already doing it.
Yeah, we spend in our black projects, our black budget, we spend $100 billion a year.
I was asking if it's funded.
$100 billion a year. You could take all the militaries in the world, except for Russia. You can include China in this. You can combine the military budgets, their entire military budgets. We spend more on black budget projects than the rest of the militaries combined for the entire military budget. That's crazy. That's how much money we spend on research that's unaccounted for. That's not accounted to Congress or the Senate.
Right.
Even the president doesn't have the clearance to see some of this research. That's crazy it is.
Well, and we've talked about this.
Yeah.
And actually, I think during our talks, we talked. A lot of this is farmed out to the private sector.
Yeah, and they have control over different aspects of it.
But the private sector's always done that, though. If you think about this, let's use.
That's why they want. That's why a lot of things are taken away from the government, so they can be public or privately funded. So we don't have that knowledge.
Skywalker Ranch is owned now privately by a organization that has a lot of money, that does research in UFOs, that does research in phenomenons of all different types. And these people are the same people that are associated with and work with these other private organizations that have military connections. We know this, and it's the people's money that go into this, as well as this, whoever the private investor is, but some of our money still goes to some of this stuff. Whether you believe it or not, it does.
Did you see what Joe Chase just said?
Ted, someplace in China just shut down today because of more virus. Yeah, I know. I saw that earlier today. The real quick, if you haven't been watching the news, the pandemic is not dead. It's not gone. It's making it's making a comeback.
Rearing its head, which is what everybody said would happen if people opened up the states too quickly.
Well, Japan or China did it, and they're getting their second round right now.
Well, look at Florida and Texas.
Yeah, there's another state though that got
Arizona too. Arizona's another one.
Arizona, yeah, they're all getting a Yes.
Well, and Arizona is easily. I mean, I know Texas has been in the hundreds. Arizona is easily beyond the hundreds now.
Well, what's amazing is
how is that happening?
New York State right now is still at all-time low with
because thank God for Cuomo shutting us the fuck down and not letting us open.
Yeah, well, he's been doing his part as far as I'm concerned. But
I know you guys will have a lot of shit to say about Cuomo. You know what? Thank you, Cuomo.
You don't. The thing is like any other politician, you can believe half of it, and then half of it, is garbage. But the same as we're talking about this when it comes down to the Space Force, when it comes down to Bigfoot, when it comes to UFO, with everything that the government holds from us, we are only allowed to see what they are allowing to show us. That's it. We don't know any more than that. And because a lot of it is conducted and protected by our own military forces.
Yeah. Joe is telling you that the virus is still here. Yes, we know the virus is
Yeah.
still here, especially in New York. It is not progressing the way that some of these
Tom,
other
I
states
understand
are.
that the media does make it sometimes worse than what it is, but that's also because the human race has a problem with taking facts and making it much larger than what it really is as well. So and that's why that happens.
So here's a side note to the corona starting up again.
We really
Yes,
caught
he's trying.
what we say we caught.
So a side note to the new viruses, the new tallies. If you're looking into it, keep an eye out for the number 332. Several states, counties, a lot of times when they report new cases of the corona, you see the number 332 new cases.
Why? What does that mean?
I don't know. I don't know why that number specifically. But if you keep it in the back of your head, because you start looking at people claim that this area has a new case or that area has new cases, a lot of them are coming up with the same number, 332. I can't tell you what that means exactly. It's just a very odd coincidence.
Right. And the whole thing with COVID is this, and I really didn't want to bring this discussion, but I
mean, we can't help but not.
Right. We can't help it because it is a part of
it.
it. But here's the thing is that we know that the virus is real. We know that it's out there. I know people that had the virus and some of them, thank God, have pulled through. I know, and they've told me how bad it was for them. And, I have talked to people that
I've heard horror stories.
Oh
from
my God,
friends.
some of it was bad. But
so scary.
There are statistics out there that we don't see. There are things that we are told which are different than that as well. But we cannot say that it's not valid because we don't really know.
Well, because
we do know that it's real.
So some things are happening as byproducts of corona, and people are saying, because when their death is labeled as corona, the family is then going, it wasn't corona, it was his heart. Well, the problem is because of the corona brought it on, and then they died of a heart attack. Sure, but it's because of corona doing this, not something that happened and had this issue before. And then people want to say it wasn't corona.
Right.
Brr, 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 brr.
But see, the virus,
Come on now, people.
the thing is yes, we know that the media takes things and they blow it way out of proportion.
Yeah.
We understand
Hi,
that.
Lori.
Anybody that has any right frame of mind realize this. It's been that way for years.
Lord,
and look at we've been just talking about the government and how they now are saying, we've been doing this research on UFOs. Well, for Christ's sakes, we've known this for 70 years.
Right.
That's the same thing as the media. They will tell you 1,000 new cases. In some cases, it may be 900. Okay, so they're 100 off. To me, who really gives a shit? What we should be concerned with is that the virus is still there.
Correct.
And that we need to find a way to not catch it and not spread it.
Right.
So I don't care what the numbers are. To be honest with you, if it's still out there, I want to protect myself and my family, and that's what matters to me. The rest of it doesn't. So you do your social distancing, you do your mask, you do whatever you have to. I mean, I was watching some stuff today that they were saying that there is a possibility that it is staying on some shiny surfaces longer than the 3 hours that they were telling us originally. They're saying it may be staying longer, and that's how people are catching it. There are people that may have brought it home and didn't realize it because it takes us so long of a period for it to come about. We don't know. They don't know. In fact, there's doctor after doctor on some of these programs telling you that they don't have all the answers and they're still working on it. All I know is it doesn't matter what the numbers are.
Right.
The fact is the virus is still there. It's still killing. It's still doing what it's doing. And we have to not worry about what the actual freaking numbers are and just take care of ourselves.
Well, right. We have to. I mean, think about it this way.
Who gives a shit?
The Black Plague, etc. I mean, we didn't understand that shit, and that's why so many people died. But we have known from 1920 when there was the plague or whatever that was going on here in the U.S. and when like Chicago or something didn't shut down and Philadelphia did.
You're talking about Black Plague from way back when?
No,
Spanish flu, 1980.
Spanish flu,
They proved that just by shutting down that Philadelphia did not spread and have near as many deaths as what was it, Chicago, and all of them had. So we were learning even 100 years ago.
Right.
You know, and now that we are more advanced medically and technologically, we need to know and understand that we need to be quiet.
Do you know what popped in my head? And this is something, I don't know if you guys will agree with this or not, but I remember there was some research done saying that the human population over the past 50 years has actually declined in
intelligence. Makes sense to me because of the use of technology.
Because of the use of technology, because of laziness.
Yeah.
So the more that we're going and we're supposed to be advancing ourselves,
right?
The less
the dumber we're getting.
Yeah. So when will it come to we get so dumb we can't even survive, to be honest with you, because of everything else that new that comes around?
That's
maybe that's what the aliens are checking for, Jeff.
Or Pixar.
Is they're checking to see
Wall-E.
what our IQs are from 50 years ago to 100 years ago to 150 years ago. They want to know how smart and how dumb we're getting after a period of time.
Well, they used my ex-wife for that experiment, and they came up with the answer. We're good.
Oh, my farg. Oh, my farg. He said that out loud. Oh, my farg. Jeff, that was hysterical, but you may get in trouble.
Tom says they say that the recent spikes in COVID is due to the Memorial Day shit, but it has nothing to do with the gatherings, the protests, and the riots. What sense does that make? But there's a lot of people in denial. But
the beach is open. Come on, what?
We know as of today that because of some of the riots and some of that stuff, people have caught it.
I'm sure.
We know this.
Well, and if they didn't, then that just spells out something different as far as
something fishy.
How can you have that many people,
right,
in close proximity and not catch it? But they're on the beach of Florida, and 30% of the beachgoers come down with it.
But they weren't even using the masks and stuff. At least in the protesters, you can see most of them wearing masks.
Well, do you remember? Yeah. So you remember the college students when they came out and they went to the beach and they were partying, and then 15 to 20% of them come down with COVID.
Yeah, the kids.
The kids did.
Yeah, and they were saying that, younger people weren't supposed to catch it as easy, but now that's on the rise.
So there's a lot of things happening that we don't know. Hey, it is what it is. I mean, it's maybe we're just finding a way to thin the herd. Who knows?
Well, I've said that there's a mass exodus going on right now. People don't believe me.
John,
the earth will shed us like fleas in its own time.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Listen, think about it.
You know what
this
happened?
way.
Godzilla will come back and eat everybody.
Wait, where's Godzilla noise? Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
I just went and bought a new Godzilla yesterday.
You did?
I now have the 1959 version, the 1999 version, and I just ordered the 2002 version.
What?
Yes. See, I'm a big Godzilla nerd, but James knew this.
Oh, yeah.
Jim.
Yeah, we talked about all that shit already.
Yes, you did. Yeah, I can't remember what you guys were talking about when I came on and saw you
Joe,
guys.
that's absolutely true.
I don't remember what you guys were talking about.
In your mouth
So it was funny because somebody said earlier in the comments over your
Can you just say real loud, Tom, you have to wait and see.
But what did Ted send Tommy? You have to wait and see.
Thank you.
I guess you not know tonight, Tom.
It's in your box. I've had young girls walk right into me after they put their phones away. You know what was funny is what the hell was it? It was somebody today that I was talking to, and they work for the state health department, and they said that it was a small percentage. I think it was only 10 or 11% of the research they were doing on COVID. They actually found the virus on the phone.
It would make sense. I literally have been using
handy wipes.
No, alcohol, rubbing alcohol.
Yeah. So it was amazing because they said the places that people aren't looking for COVID.
Mhm.
They gave me a list.
I did my
I should have
phone
brought
and
it.
this.
But I didn't want to bring it up. The list was
I didn't want to
number
bring it up.
one was phone.
Yep.
Number 2 was steering wheel of your car.
I've been wiping mine down.
A third was pocketbook or wallet.
I haven't been doing that.
Which includes your credit card.
I don't use my credit card. I use my phone now.
And do you know that the government and not banks, but most government facilities that the money is exchanged in, what do they call those places?
Federal Reserve?
Huh?
Federal Reserve.
Federal Reserve. Yes. Thank you. It kind of flew out of my head. They are actually spraying money now.
Yeah.
When it comes back through.
Do you guys know how filthy money is?
Oh, yeah.
It has so much germs. I worked
Could you
at a
imagine how many
bank
people are going to take money out of their wallet tonight and they're just going to start spraying it with freaking alcohol?
Okay, so tell me, why aren't all the strippers got down with COVID?
Because the strippers aren't stripping.
Yeah, they can't strip right
That's
now.
why they're not coming down with COVID, because they're not stripping right now.
Nobody's got the COVID-free $1 bill.
But I'll tell you right now, if anybody wants to take their money and they're afraid that it's got COVID on it, they can mail it to me.
Right,
Here at
I will
WLFE
test your
DB
money
Radio.
for you.
We will test your money for you.
I mean, it will not be returned.
No, if it has
It
COVID,
is a
it will
donation.
be destroyed.
It will not be destroyed. It will be used for our own selfish purposes and gains.
Shenanigans.
Our own
The
shenanigans. Whoever says that word again, I'm going to pistol whip him. Hey, what's that word? What's the name of it?
What's the name of that bar you like to go to? Oh, Shenanigans.
Shenanigans. Oh! People are going to think I have
You're
Tourette's
nuts.
or something,
You're
and I'm
nuts.
nuts.
You're just nuts.
I
You're
am.
just crazy.
Do you know what I'm doing? Do you even understand that? You've never seen that movie. have
Everything
you?
you touch has germs. Don't touch me. Now I have Cindy germs.
Cooties.
You can smell my hands.
Anyway.
I'm a freak. I'm a freak.
So when it comes to the things in the government that we've seen, we all know, folks, just as to wrap this up, they all know that they say they're telling us the truth. We do know that they're still holding things back, and they will lie, and they will continue to hold on to that shit until somebody goes in there with a really
big hammer and kills them all. Until we're able to get in there and get that information. The other thing is that when it comes to the paranormal, we have to keep in mind that ghosts, Bigfoot, UFOs, and whatever other cryptids or things that you think that you see, things that go bump in the night,
and the things that go bump in the night, there is no scientific proof that any of them exist. And if there is, the only one that's close to that is going to be the UFOs and aliens, because of what the government is holding.
I just realized it's 10:16.
Yes, I know. That's why I look down and I'm like, we've got to start wrapping this up.
No, we don't. Unless they want to.
If people want to believe that ghosts exist, I'm fine with that. They want to believe that aliens and UFOs exist, I'm fine with that too. It would be pretty conceited of herself and pretty.
Right.
You know what I mean? To think that they didn't exist. We are not the only living creature in the species in the freaking universe. We know this.
Yeah.
There are other things out there floating around on rocks. They've already found that, used to be. They used to could. But anyways, when it comes to Bigfoot and the other cryptids like the Dogman and Mothman and all that other stuff, I was just so recently, because of all the stuff that's happening in our society today, with all the uprising, and I don't understand your specific kind of crazy, but I do admire your total commitment to it. Well, thank you.
That's what my friend just sent to me.
Ted, Bigfoot here feeding at my bird feeder. Well, awesome. Take some pictures for us. The other thing, what the hell was I saying? With the uprise of everything that's going on in our world and our country right now, don't be surprised if more things are going to be seen and heard that you normally wouldn't hear or see, because there's a shift of a lot of things happening right now, and the energy is not specific. There's a lot of different energies because of all this stuff going on. I've already heard that there's a lot of things that actually, as my Indian friend says, listen to the wind.
Listen to the wind.
It's in the wind.
What is that? That's
it'll tell you. Listen to the wind.
All the voices of the wind.
It actually came from that movie Thunderheart, and Graham Greene played it, and he pulled over this federal agent, and he was a reservation cop, and he says, "Yeah, okay, so why are you pulling me over, crazy horse?" He goes, "Because you went by me, and the wind said, 57. Nail him. So, but yeah, whatever. All I'm saying is, and that was a funny for me. All I'm saying is that people, there's a lot of things happening in our country and our world today. Pay attention to what's important. Look out for everybody else around you. And, if there's something that you can't explain, that you're not sure of, we're always here. Paratalk Radio's here. GVPI, S.P.E.C.T.E.R.S is there.
S.P.E.C.T.E.R.S.
That's right.
S.P.E.C.T.E.R.S is there. There's a lot of paranormal groups and a lot of ghost hunting groups and other people out there that are into this field that will definitely listen to what you have to say.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's from Buddy the Bigfoot.
What
did he say?
Let me see what I can come up with. So I should have a translator.
Okay. So Buddy the Bigfoot should be making his appearance, hopefully, on Tuesday night with Talk with Teddy and with Trent Nielsen.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, he just messaged us and said he needs to get a translator. But
what was
we'll figure it
Eric
out.
talking about with Talk with Teddy?
Oh, there's another Psycho Bunny Death something. Psycho, I don't know.
But what is that?
That's they're a horror group.
Oh, horror group?
Paranormal horror. Something that I'll be talking to on
horror groups
on Talk with Teddy.
Horror groups.
All right, guys. So
not horror.
Jeff
horror groups.
and Anvil, James, thank you so much.
Thank you for having us. Thank you very much for having us.
I hope we entertained you.
Let me entertain you.
So, actually, would like to have you guys back at another time.
That'd be
come
fun.
talk about some stuff. If you get some more updates,
Jim,
Jeff,
if you
please
can get him a word in edgewise.
Well, tonight was about Jeff talking about Bigfoot and UFOs. So
I love it, Jeff. I love it.
Later.
James, all you have to remember is like with Talk with Teddy, we have signs. So just get yourself a little whiteboard you can write on. Hang on. Talk with Teddy has those, So, and
bad word.
There you go. And definitely. But guys, been an awesome night.
This is Tom's World.
Yeah, actually, it's a pretty good. He's on YouTube. It's actually a pretty cool YouTube series if you want to watch. It's pretty cool.
Is he on LSD?
Okay,
he might be.
Psychic Cindy.
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
Got to tell our
Go
upcomings.
Go ahead.
Tarot Tuesday is tomorrow night, friends. Come and see me. I do free readings, but if you give a donation, you are guaranteed a reading.
It reminds me, I have to talk to you after this is done because I have somebody that wants to talk to you.
Oh, good. Okay, fantastic.
Also,
and I do individual readings, half an hour, $60. An hour is $110. Call me. Let's work this out.
Talk with Teddy tomorrow night is going to be Trent Nielsen from Naked and Afraid. Fun. He's also a Bigfoot enthusiast, and he's got some great stories about Bigfoot. And he has his own Bigfoot. What do they call? Man cave.
Nice.
Which is way up in the hills, which is very, very cool. And then Thursday night, we are talking with Shane McClellan, who is a researcher of the strange and unusual. And it is called the Q Files.
Oh. Wait, who is this?
Shane McClellan.
McClellan?
Yeah.
Why does it sound?
Because we have interviewed him before. He is actually a part of Queer Ghost Hunters.
Yes. Okay. So that's what I thought.
He has his own podcast called Q Files. So he's going to be on, and we're going to talk about that as well as he wants to.
As soon as I heard his name, I'm like, and then you're talking about Q Files.
Yep.
I was like, that sounds familiar.
Podcast called the Q Files and talking about the strange and unusual. He also wants to talk about a couple other things on top of it all, of what's happening in the world, which is we're going to have to keep that on a very short leash, but we're going to do that as well. And then Saturday night is
Saturday night.
Yeah, Saturday night is somebody important, and I can't remember who it is now. God, can't be that important, is it, guys?
Joe Chase, Ted. I think he wants you to call him. 8675309.
That's that Mother de la whatever. That's what that is.
No,
Mother
it's Tommy
de la Morta.
Oh, Mother de la Morte.
Yes, that's who I have on for Saturday night.
Why isn't it Madre de la Morte?
I don't know, but that's who it is. So if you guys get a chance, don't forget, look up Talk with Teddy on Facebook, YouTube, and so on and so forth. Same with Psychic Cindy. Look it up on her YouTube or Facebook pages.
Facebook page is Psychic Cindy / Psychic Cindy. On YouTube and Instagram, it's The Psychic Cindy.
Right. James, plug your stuff.
So I'll plug the stuff. So Jeff and I, despite talking to you, we also do our own little podcast called Let's Talk It All.
Awesome.
And pretty much this was a fair representation of what it's like when Jeff and I get together. We talk about everything, and it just goes off the rail into other topics. Nice. So if you go to letstalkitall.com, you can find us there. It also lists all our podcasts for the last 4 years that we've been doing it together. So,
are you on a network?
No, we are not. But we noticed that your commercials that you're looking for people. So
you want to be?
Well, yeah.
Okay, I'll give you guys a call here in a little while or text. Okay. We'll set it up with you guys. We'll bring you.
You guys scared the sheep shit out of me.
Sheep shit.
Sheep shit.
Sheep shit out of me.
Why do you have sheep shit?
I don't know. That's why he scared it out of me. It didn't belong there.
Hey, James, that reminds me. Have you seen the movie?
Yep, that one.
Wait a minute. Something about Los Angeles.
About Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Is it a recent movie?
Yeah, it's a recent movie. I just bought it and I watched it. It was about
just tell us the premise.
It was about the United. It's about us going to war with aliens.
Battlefield Los Angeles?
Or Los Angeles, yes.
I haven't seen that. I saw that when it first came out. I haven't seen it in a while. It was kind of interesting.
I watched it and I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
Very PC answer.
Yes. Well, I watched it and I enjoyed. Well, him and I talk about this stuff anyways.
He and I.
Sorry. But I watched it and I actually enjoyed it. But I watched, like, shortly after that, I watched that Hacksaw Ridge. Oh, have you seen that yet?
Yeah.
No, I don't think I have.
You should. I'm putting that on your movie list.
It's heavy, though.
It is heavy. But
be prepared. It's heavy.
It is awesome.
What is the premise of Hacksaw Ridge?
It's based on a true story. It's based on a life of the gentleman. What was his name?
It seems like I know that movie though. Is it?
I want to call him Delwood, but it's not. It's something else like that.
But
it's based on this guy's life being a part of World War II.
Oh yes, that's what I thought.
Yes,
Hacksaw
amazing.
Ridge. Yes. Jansen loves that movie actually.
Yeah.
You should not be letting him watch that kind of stuff just yet.
Why?
He's 17.
Oh,
it was a good movie.
What do you mean?
So if you need a movie to add to your movies to watch list,
yes.
Yeah,
there's one out there with
Yep.
Can't remember who, but it's called I Killed Hitler, and then I killed Bigfoot.
I saw it.
I killed Hitler and I killed Bigfoot.
I saw it.
It's different, but it wasn't bad.
It was.
Can you write that
terrible.
for me? It was terrible.
Oh, come on.
It was like
is it a B movie?
It was. Yes, it was B.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It was borderline.
Where do you find it?
It was borderline BC. I mean, it was like.
Jeff is laughing so hard right now.
It was. It
Sam
was.
Elliott. Had Sam Elliott in it.
Yeah.
Hey, I love Sam Elliott. Come on.
I know. How can you not like Sam Elliott?
Right.
That's the only reason I watched the damn that. I watched it because it said I killed Bigfoot and because it was Sam Elliott. And when at the end, I was like, son of a bitch.
You got me.
I knew it was going to happen.
Wait, how did you guys find this movie though?
Some of us, just because we like certain movies, we do our research and we look around for stuff like that.
But how do you find it?
It was brought out not too long ago.
Go through Amazon Prime or Netflix, they're listed in there.
Okay. All right, that I can do that.
It was a major release. It was a major release.
Yeah, it was.
Theaters, so.
Yeah. Yeah, it was still stupid. It was still stupid. That's like that Men Staring at Goats was stupid.
Staring at ghosts.
It's staring at goats. Yep.
See?
Men staring at goats.
Yes, ghosts.
I thought you said ghosts. I'm like,
goats.
That's weird. Yes,
that was all about psychedelic drugs, I think.
Yes, it was.
Yes. So, yeah.
But it was
maybe that's your problem. You need
it was government. Was it not government
Yes.
Yeah.
Government trials. They were using hallucinative drugs.
Hallucinogenic drugs.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Tongue in front of my teeth. Can't see what I'm saying.
Correct.
And they use that. They were trying to use psychics as well. And
yes, I remember that too.
But all right, now we just wasted another goddamn 10 minutes. Guys, thanks again.
Sorry.
We'll talk to you soon.
Hey, Amy.
Jim, we'll have to get to James. We'll have to get together and talk about more sci-fi stuff on Talk with Teddy some night.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Take care, guys.
All right, take care. Thank you for having us.
Thank
Good night,
you.
guys.
See you.
Well, remember, folks, wherever there is darkness, there is always
Delight.
Thank you for listening to Paratalk Radio with Ted Wolf and Psychic Cindy. Catch us next Monday for another fantastic guest. Please check out our show as well as others on the WLFE DB Radio Network. And remember, like, follow, and share with everyone.
Join us at WLFE-DB.com for upcoming shows and so much more.